Good evening, this is Poker Night Live. I'm Nick Wealthall and I am most glad to welcome you and enjoy your company for the next 4 hours of non-stop poker action. We have got real games, real players playing for real cash, always on Poker Night Live, and they're going to be entertaining you this Monday night till 2 a.m. We're going to have a great show, tournaments, cash, the usual mix, you know by now, guys. And with me to help me through this malaise of poker mystery is Mr. James Browning.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, James. Are you keeping well?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's lovely to see you.
Yes, I've been away for a while, haven't I?
You have?
I was on this glorious poker cruise in the Caribbean, and it was packed full of poker players. Only poker players on the boat.
Life is tough.
They took over the whole boat.
They did occasionally make them leave for cleaning, though, presumably, or...? They
tried to. They couldn't get them off the boat, though. They sort of stopped off at islands and they thought, well, you must go and see Antigua.
Yeah.
No, we're staying.
You got a little bit of a tan anyway. That's makeup. Tan.
It is a tan.
It's
real.
a tan, yeah. It's impressive. I'm sure we'll be hearing tales of poker cruises throughout the night, guys. But what we really want is for you to tell us what to talk about. Fully live show, Poker Night Live, all the time, and interactive. And we want to hear from you on anything to do with this game. Doesn't matter what your level of play, whether you're a beginner, an expert, or whether you just want to entertain us with something funny from poker, whatever you like. Do get the texts and emails coming in. We love to get them. Love it when you get in touch. Here's how you do it. 62211, 62211. On your text, the email is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, and you can go to the website if you like. There it is, pokernightlive.co.uk, learn more about the show and interact on our forums, which are a really lively place where you can actually improve your game. Some good poker discussions on the forums, although don't go there between now and 2 o'clock. You're mine for the duration. Hours. Joint custody. See James on the odd-numbered hours. I'll be here on the even ones. Do get your questions in, guys, and as I've said before, James has got one of the best poker brains on the planet, and I'm pretty confident that flush beats are straight, so we should be all right between us. Whatever you need to know, do ask us. Got a selection of games, as ever. Let's have a look at them now. James, do you want to take us around what's on offer?
I would be happy to, Nick. We're kicking off with 1-2 cash. There we go. It's a full table. It normally is. Very popular game here on Poker Night Live. Normally pretty lively. And here's another good one. 2-4. Again, full house. Not on the flop. Full house of players. Oh, this is a different price. A $30 sit and go. Just started. So that'll be quite interesting. Johan Harren there, one of the very solid players. And yes, bright green. You know what it means. It's MTT time. And we'll be paying some visits to that throughout the night.
Yeah, big multi-table tournament, over 300 players in that one.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Don't even know if we'll squeeze it all in, but...
I know. They'll have to play quickly.
They'll have to play quickly. We'll get the word out. They're on TV. Be entertaining.
Yeah,
we will see what we talk about, guys. As ever, it's up to you, but we've got in mind to talk about some multi-table tournament strategy and some thoughts on that. So that's the direction we're headed. Get your thoughts in and, of course, get your questions in on that. But as ever, you can talk to us about anything you like, and we'll see how we go with the multi-table stuff. We may end up talking about something completely different. Up to you. Let's start things off with the multi-table tournament, see how these boys are getting on in the early stages. Let's take a look. This is a $10 buy-in. 316 entrants, James. They're going to be playing for a first prize of $870. Which is worth winning.
Very good.
And all the way down to 30th place, which will win $22.12. So good money up for grabs, and we'll be dipping in and out of it throughout the night. And at the moment, the blinds are 15 and 30. Early stages, and we can see Killer Blade gambling his entire tournament on Ace-Queen and getting lucky and then unlucky. And it ends up a split. My goodness, look at that.
It went right round the houses, that one, didn't it?
Absolutely.
TV flop time.
Yeah. And we know we have new viewers every night to Poker Night Live, so welcome aboard. You are joining us on a pro night. This is a night where we don't worry too much about explaining how to play the game. We assume a little bit of knowledge. If you stick with us but you don't know how to play, you will pick it up very quickly. We will try and explain things as we go along. And if you're completely new to poker, completely new to Hold'em, I'd recommend going online, tapping in Texas Hold'em rules, poker rules, something like that, and you will get all the information you need for free to browse at your leisure.
One bit of advice here, if any are young viewers and you're still at school, that isn't really how you spell cucumber there. So just don't you get into trouble next day.
That's good, James, good.
No, I don't want
good education with the poker. An important blend.
Very important, I feel.
And
okay, Jersey there, Jack King, dreaming of a queen.
E-bagger sitting pretty with the 3 4s.
Very pretty. Now, how's he going to react to that? Well, he's left the door open.
Well, he's got the full house. He's pretty confident, but at the same time...
For him to improve, he's hoping he can improve to something, but he doesn't.
At the same time, the pot's very small, and I do believe you've got to build it, try and build it a little bit, otherwise it's hard to win some proper money, isn't it?
However, he's very fortunate here. He's just got Jersey here, decides to try and bluff it. Not a good time to bluff. Of course, can't call the re-raise. Yes, the e-bagger there was really desperately hoping that he left the door open. He's hoping that someone was going to make a flush or a straight. He was just begging for them to improve.
I mean, it's an interesting learning point early on. He's hoping that somebody makes the flush in his mind.
Yes.
He's hoping somebody makes the flush. He's already got his full house, so he's just smooth called. But what he's failing to take account of is that the time he can get money out of players is when they're drawing to the flush.
Because they're prepared to pay for the draw.
Absolutely.
That's quite right. And that's
so he needs to charge them an attractive price for their draw, basically, doesn't he?
Yes, and basically what he should be doing really is his better thought process would be, right, I will now try and represent that I've got like a big pair.
Yeah.
So he should put his big pair hat on, basically, and try and make the same sort of bet as if he would have done if he just had one pair.
Right.
And charge the person for the draw. So that's what he should be doing. So then if the person makes the draw, he will then obviously snaffle up the chips with his full house.
Yeah.
So basically that would be a better thought process from him, because as Nick said, you know, they will pay actually, basically. They're on the draw, they find it very hard to put it down, and they will pay. And the fact that you're betting then, they think, oh, well, he hasn't got his made hand, he wants to stop me making
That's
mine.
right. Just normally it's going to be better to invest some money there. Those of you not familiar with multi-table tournaments, we've been bringing them to you for a couple of months now. If you are very new to poker or just haven't experienced multi-table tournaments, can be an almost infinite number of players with the digital cyberspace age. There's over 200 players in this tournament. When I was a slip of a lad, if that was a live event, it would have been huge.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Nowadays on the internet, commonplace 200
Yeah, well,
players.
over 200 players it would be, well, far bigger than the World Series.
Yeah, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing how poker's changed. Obviously, we can only see one table at a time, but the other 20-odd tables, 30 tables are out there. And what happens is, as players get knocked out, they play no-limit poker, they get one allocation of chips. When those chips are gone, they're out. So when their chips are down to 0, they're out. And the computer will then automatically reassign players to tables and remove virtual tables until we end up with one final table in our last 8 players. And it's basically, these tournaments are a game of last man standing, aren't they? And the longer you survive, the more your prize money escalates. The thing about multi-table tournaments is that there's 2 competing influences in them, which makes them tricky. One is survival. If you're the last man with chips, you're the winner.
Seems fair.
Seems fair, doesn't it? So that was one influence. But then the other influence is driven by the fact that the blinds continually go up. So you can't just sit there and try and survive. You also have to accumulate chips.
That seems unfair.
It does seem unfair. And that's the way it is, James.
That's
it's
life,
an
isn't it,
unfair
really?
world.
It is an unfair world.
And those are the 2 competing influences. That's why it's not always an easy game to play or an easy game to judge what's right to do.
No, it's not. It's a forever... as poker itself is forever changing anyway because of how people are doing in a regular game, even a money game, that game changes depending on how your opponents are doing.
Yeah.
Their style changes, whether they're winning or losing. Probably it shouldn't, but it does in reality. But in the tournaments, of course, it changes even more because of this inflation, because of the the rise in the price of playing the game, the charge of the blinds keeps on going up and up and up. And you've got to keep pace with that.
That's right, and we would love to know how you're getting on in multi-table tournaments, guys. We'd love to know if you are thinking about trying to play in them, if you've been playing them for a while, if you're a successful player, whatever it is. Ever questions you have on multi-table tournaments, and of course on any aspect of poker. Do get them in tonight. We're going to have a great show tonight, and we know that your text and emails are going to be a big part of making that happen. So get in touch. It's 62211. 62211 on the text. The email here is poker@pokernightlivecoduk. Get your name and email read out on the telly. That is fair. That's very fair.
You can't get fairer than that. It's unbelievable.
Isn't it?
That is a bargain of the century.
Bargain of the century. I tell you what.
Fame for no price.
When I was a young lad and I was learning poker, if I could have emailed professional players and had them deal with my query there and then for nothing, I'd have never been off the computer.
The commentators would be saying, yeah, it's Nick again.
They would.
Not again.
It's a fantastic deal.
Yours mightn't have ever got through the back room, though.
James, did you ever have any poker lessons or any poker tutelage or anything like that from anyone?
No.
That's interesting. Did you ever contemplate it? Would you, if you could have your poker time again, contemplate it?
I think mine was fortunate that I'd actually been a games player beforehand.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'd basically, a lot of the principles of poker I'd learnt elsewhere. So therefore, I'd been a backgammon player and a blackjack player, and the talents required for those games are very similar to the ones important for poker.
Would you give poker lessons?
Would I give poker lessons? Well, I hopefully do give poker lessons on Poker
do.
Night Live.
Far too cheaply.
So
That's interesting, because I think that probably one of the quickest ways you can improve as a poker player is to have a better poker player analyse your play.
actually, you don't even need a better poker player. In fact, all you really need is, you should just have a group of players, keen players, who are prepared to honestly just discuss the game with each other.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal. I think that and you know, as you know, Casper, another commentator on the show, and I learnt the game together, so we exchanged ideas and challenged each other, and that's great.
Did you ever agree?
Did we ever agree?
Yes.
Well, I think we had the kind of relationship where if somebody had an idea, the other one would automatically criticise it, which is actually perfect.
Devil's advocate.
That's
basically.
what you want, yeah, because you want to be able to justify your ideas. But we were very lucky to have that. I think if you haven't got that, it can be difficult to find a group of like-minded people. So I think that there is a place potentially for hooking up with an established player or whatever it is.
Absolutely, certainly there is. I mean, I have mentioned it before, but it's worth a mention again. When I was playing backgammon in New York, there was a lot of the finest backgammon players were in New York. A lot of them were poker players now. People like Eric Seidel, Roger Lowe, Jason Lester, Mike Sinkovitz, loads of top players.
Yeah.
But what they did, different to the rest of the backgammon players in the world, was after a session they would have different positions. They'd be setting up the positions and saying, how could you have made that double? And they'd set up the position and then they'd roll it out. They'd have bets on which was the best way to play it, and they'd be tearing the positions apart all the time, getting better and better. Not one of them, but they were all getting better because they were learning from each other.
Yeah.
And basically, we as poker players, we should have our own little group of poker buddies who we discuss hands with, tear things apart, and we'll all improve.
I think it's very important because it's very difficult. I mean, we advocate, and I particularly advocate being objective about your play, analysing your own play, but it is difficult to completely be critical about your own play and to challenge it because you've only got your thought process. So getting somebody else's eyes on it, however you do that, invaluable, I think.
Yeah, well, I know it's been quoted a few times, but it was that one night when I said I thought it was a good idea if we all basically even had a mythical one, if we didn't have a buddy, but have your own poker buddy who, when you got knocked out of a tournament, you had to phone him up and say how it happened.
Yeah, and justify it.
And justify
I think
it.
that's a great tip.
And so I gave that one night, it came off my top of my head, but people sort of quite like it. But it really is a good idea, but people should discuss. I mean, Nick and I, for example, we chatted tonight when we just came in. We were talking about a hand together. We were pulling one back and forward, getting each other's ideas on it. And that is the way to march on.
No question. Well, the forums are also very good for that, pokernightlive.co.uk.
Oh, superb, the forum, yeah.
Very good place to do that. Let's go to a single table tournament now. We're going to warm up this Monday night with a $30 single table tournament. Here it is. In the early stages, you've missed about 3 or 4 hands, that's all.
If that, look at
If
it.
that. I almost had regular lessons when I was in Vegas from a pro there. And then I met somebody who became my poker mentor for a while. And so I didn't need them because he was happy to talk to me for nothing.
All right.
So I just had a couple of lessons. But I would have had lessons at the point of learning the game because I'm a great believer that if you get somebody else's knowledge, you shortcut the process. Here's the disposition of chips in the tournament so far, very early on, so not much has happened. But Golf Pro is swinging away there with 1,460 chips.
And how fitting to have a leaderboard when you've got a Golf Pro up there.
Tremendous. Yeah. He's now got the button. The blinds are 10 and 20, and I'm sure most of you know by now, but for those that don't, the blinds will double every 10 hands in this fast structured sit and go. Very exciting tournament, which will be over in about 35 minutes. And the top 3 remaining longest lasting individuals will share out the prize pool, which is $30 times 8, $240. Look at that. Straight away, immediately.
This time of the night as well. I don't know how you do it.
No calculator.
No, there wasn't. No. I can vouch for that. He did it off the top of his head.
So $120 is up for grabs for first place, and some more prize money for the other 2.
Off the top of his head, he didn't need a calculator for that either. Incredible.
I do for the next bit. It's harder, doesn't it?
Just talk about something else.
Yeah, just move on.
Read out the names or something. Tommy Lyon, that's it. When you don't know the sum, just read out a couple of names.
Names
yeah.
And wait for the producer
to work it out for you.
Well, we've got...
we've had a raise here from Sliema to 180, and it's been called by Tommy Lyon. And we've got Nafans. It's quite cute. Has done the massive re-raise with a pair of 5s. Oh my goodness, it looks like... And Tommy Lyon puts it down. So the fact that...
what's Sliema doing?
He called it, and the trip 9s would have caused 1-8. It would have been a full house for Tommy Lyon, who passed his 9s. So the pair of 5s got him to put his hand down. There it is. Prior to that, it was Nafans who did the big re-raise. It was a 180 raise from Sliema. Tommy Lyon called it. Nafans re-raised. Tommy Lyon passed. And Nafans scooped some money there with a very bold play.
Yeah, not a big fan of the play. I think far too bold at that stage of the tournament. But at least he was being aggressive. At least he went the Sliema. You can't defend the call, can you, Ace Jack? That's not winning play, is it?
Probably not. Well, in fact, probably this is a weird situation here because we're going to actually say here that probably none of those plays were really winning plays. This was just too big a play in the early stages, certainly with a pair of 5s against someone who's raised and someone who's called a raise. You're against 2 opponents. This is tough. Because it's hard to get 2 people to put a hand down.
Both of them have said they've got a genuine hand.
Yeah. In the end, he's obviously ended up in a coin flip for a big flop. Still, he was amazing. He actually got the right guy to call it.
Yeah, that was the real trick.
And the guy with the best hand to put it down. But there's a bit of a lesson for us there. In these early stages, if you're not sure where you are and you're calling with like a middle pair, and he obviously wasn't sure where he was with the middle pair, if it's a sort of a chunky bet, it's not always even right to call with those pairs if it's too much. Because you say, if you don't know what to do next, perhaps you shouldn't be there. Perhaps you should be waiting for a hand where you know better where you are.
Well, we had this discussion last time we were on, I think, James, and I don't want to get carried away with the idea, but if you have doubt over a hand and you think you might be best, but you also think you may not be best, and you've analysed it and you think it's a tough call, if you're in the early stages of sit and go, and presumably you want to play winning poker, so you think you have an edge, you should throw your hand away.
I think clearly, yes.
And live to fight another day and accept the fact that sometimes you're throwing away a winner. Because, you know, in an ideal world, we'd do the correct expectation analysis and we'd show a profit with all of our bets. In the real world of playing with about 10 seconds to decide, if you have to make that decision, it's a marginal call. You should err on folding because it's early in the tournament.
Still got
You're
plenty of
competitive.
chips.
Yeah.
It's funny that you should say that because I was actually speaking to a guy I made friends with on the cruise just on the way into work, and we were talking about some bit of poker, and he sort of just knew to going to play some cash games. He just started to play some cash games, and I was talking to him about one thing. I said, right, one really important point is, I said, you have to be able to pass a winning hand. He's going, oh. I said, yeah. I said, look, you've got to be able to pass a winning hand. I said, because if you're able to pass a winning hand, then you're able to pass a lot of losing hands. And that's the thing. But people are terrified of passing a winning hand. And the people who are terrified of passing a winning hand, they just end up calling far too many...
Far too many hands, yeah.
Too many hands, because they don't. This one situation is so terrifying for them. Oh God, I was winning. Look, how could I have passed it? You can't. You must be able to pass winning hands. You can't get it that. It's not keyhole surgery. So you're better to say, yes, I know I'm going to be passing this percentage of winning hands. But look at all those losers I'm passing.
glad it's not keyhole surgery because I would be rubbish.
Would you?
I'm very clumsy.
Oh God. Oh yes, I noticed earlier.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I almost dismantled the set on
You
my
did.
way into the chair.
Can you imagine if you were coming to do the operation? Oh, hello, Mr. Browning. Boom, cash. Yes, a bit nerve-wracking.
It's difficult, isn't it, to concentrate on anything? It turns out. MTV generation and all that. Well, Amarillo Slim, the great Texan gambler, said, if you can't pass a hand, you can't play a lick. His word. So there we are.
Yeah.
That's your level, James, in terms of advice giving.
Amarillo's.
Amarillo's, yeah.
He said it rather colourfully.
He said it more colourfully, but he's one of those colourful Yankee Doodle dandies we hear so much about on the news, isn't he?
Oh, he definitely is.
This is Poker Night Live with Nick and James, and we're after your texts and emails, guys. That's why we're here, to help you out with your poker problems, make you all better players. But the only way that you can do that is by texting or emailing in your questions, not shouting them at the telly. That won't work. We're good, but we're not that good.
Well, unless they live really near.
Unless they live really near.
You could hear them across the road,
if they
possibly.
come round. That was the text number, 62211. There's the email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Looking forward to a Monday jam-packed full of good emails, guys. I know you're going to step up for us.
I gave a bit of poker gossip to Michelle last night, but I'll tell you, because I'm sure people who haven't heard, and we might be able to get some on the emails about it, funny enough.
Yeah.
There is a massive tournament going to be taking place. There's going to be a 6-seater tournament, and it's going to be taking place in Australia. And the entry fee is $10 million.
That's right, I've heard this rumour.
So there's going to be one prize only, I believe. No deals are allowed. So it's first prize $60 million.
But my understanding is they don't have the players yet, do they?
They have one player.
For Livey?
Correct.
Yes.
Now, was this because you were watching the show last night? Or?
No, we had it a couple of weeks ago.
Did
while
you?
you were away.
Right.
Somebody emailed us about it, yeah.
Oh, right, okay, good.
But is it Australian dollars or American dollars?
Ah.
I mean, it's still don't get me wrong, I'm not entering either way.
Oh, Australian dollars. Oh, well.
If it's the 3 million.
We'll enter then. I thought it was American dollars. It's Australian. We can enter.
Well, it's not worth bothering if it's Australian.
Well, I suppose not really, no.
Stan makes his flush after a optimistic raise from Nap Hands.
Anyway, the follow-up was,
yes.
Perhaps we could say, OK, we've got Phil Ivey. Who would you like to see being the other 5 in this event?
Yeah.
And any reasons for it?
Yeah.
Might be an interesting little theme to see if we've got any clues about that.
Yeah, well, absolutely everybody's going to put themselves.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. They might put you.
They might.
They might sponsor you.
I would put me, certainly.
They might sponsor you.
Yes.
Well,
I'm all for it. If Poker Night Live viewers want to cobble together 10 million,
yes,
that's cool. I can do the 10 quid. They can do the 9.99 whatever.
Right, but I have to get a little percentage. If the sponsorship comes through this idea, it's only fair. And we'll do it vice versa.
There's
okay?
actually a tiny bit of you that thinks this is going to come off as well.
Yeah.
We'll give this a whirl, guys. There is a $10 million six-seater tournament. When's it happening? It's not for a little while, is
I
it?
think it's March.
March. And James would like to know, apart from Phil Ivey, who's in there, who do you want in the other 5 chairs? Something you can text and email about if you'd like to. Fill us in with your thoughts. We're also talking a lot about multi-table tournaments tonight. And is that your diary?
No, I've made a note of this somewhere.
Okay. He's got a really long entry every time he's on the show. I was on telly again. It was brilliant. We're going to get you some details on that, but we do want you to get in touch with the show, guys. We're live for the next 3.5 hours, so if you love poker as much as us, you're in for a treat. Here's how you get in touch. Couldn't be easier. 62211. Here's the text number, 62211. Or you can email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Back to the game.
That one, the big one, it takes place in the Poker Dome Arena. And it's going to have playing cards with radio chips embedded inside them.
So that the players can listen to Radio 1 if they're bored?
No.
No. For something else more sensible?
Yes, for the great technology to be able to follow the game.
So we'll know where all the cards are all the time. I just worked it out.
Yep.
I'm not very bright.
Well, you worked it out.
Well, given a couple of goes.
And it's going to take place at the Crown Casino in Melbourne.
So it's Australian dollars, presumably. So that is, joking apart, what's that? About 3 to 1 in pounds, are they? I'm not quite sure.
I'm not quite sure. Probably about that.
It's a lot of money. I mean, don't get me wrong.
$60 million. I bet it's going to get huge viewing figures.
If they get the players, of course.
They'll get them.
Yeah?
Oh, yes, because...
They'll be backed.
Yeah, of course they will be, yeah. But Phil Ivey just put his name in anyway. Wow.
Yeah. Well, he's a sensational poker player. No question about that. Nap Hands is down in chips, been playing quite a lot of hands, and is now trying to steal the blinds, which he successfully accomplishes, and he'll need to do that a few more times if he's going to get into the money. But he's still got every chance. This is a no-limit hold'em. Things can change very fast, and they do in these one-table tournaments.
Yes, and he's got the advantage. He's got a dual name there, because if he hits the flop and he makes a nut, he calls it's nap hands. But if he misses, they're naff hands. So it works well.
Does if you know what a nap is. Making jam might well call this. 300 more with ace-10, and he's just seen nap hands move in 2 hands in a row, so he might be suspicious, James.
He could well be suspicious. Plus, the price doesn't look so intimidating, because he thinks I'm still alive if it all goes wrong.
Yeah, well, he's called, and initially disappointed, but now he's got the ace he wanted.
There it is. Making Jam has made some chips.
How do you get the name Making Jam? Are you filling out your internet account and you shout to your other half, what shall I call my screen name? And she's in the kitchen. All right, stay with this, it's convoluted.
Yes.
She's in the kitchen, she mishears.
Yes.
She shouts back what she's doing,
yes,
which is making jam.
Yes.
He goes, bit weird, but I'll go with it, and puts it in. No?
Yeah, it could be.
I'm reaching.
That's the sort of person who might sponsor you as well.
Yes. I'm not going to get very far with some jam, though, am I?
No.
What's the entry fee? 10 million. I've got 3 strawberry and 2 raspberry. Is that?
10 million, so that would probably be about 300 million jars of jam you've got to sell or something.
That's a lot of jam.
Yeah.
Let's face facts.
It's funny, I've got... I know someone who calls himself Jam Today.
Right.
And on other sites he calls himself Jam Tomorrow.
See what he did there? Funnily only for you and him, though, James.
Well, I'm just thinking about why people call something with jam, though. It's just,
well, why is he called Jam?
I have no idea.
Well,
it might be, it could
you're
be
not
a new
shedding
trend.
any light on it, then, are you?
It's a new trend. I'm trying to say there's something happening in the world of poker players.
Something preserves-based.
I think it could be just down to being jammy. They want to be jammy.
Maybe, oh, no. Maybe you might be on something there.
Exactly. Making jam, making luck, being jammy. There you go.
Making bacon. That means making money, doesn't it?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Americanisms.
American,
yes.
making bacon.
Well, I'm very there with our American chums. Golf Pro will take this one and retain a healthy chip position. We lost 2 players already in our one-table tournament, down to 6, as you can see. Stan's got all the chips at the moment.
We're on the 3rd level, so it's not too bad. Johan there, we know he's a very solid player. Doggy Hunk.
You don't like that? You don't approve?
No.
Okay.
Probably not. Sort of dangerous connotations for having a name like that, I would imagine. Johan on the button with ace-6 suited. And he does a little raise there. Tommy Lyon. It's going to cost him 160 to call.
Doesn't
Size
want
not. So well timed there, Johan. The thing with Johan is he doesn't do too many of these, but the very fact that he doesn't do too many of them is why he's successful with them.
Yeah.
Because he creates a tight image at the table. When the opening is there, he picks the right time, often with position. Doesn't have to be a marvellous hand, but he thinks, well, I haven't done anything for ages. Raise. He picks the timing, and that's so important.
Yeah.
If you become just a serial mover all the time, your credibility is gone, smashed, and now you're going to have to probably, this hand is now going to stand up to win. Now it's probably a losing proposition with your ace-6.
Yeah.
Because
Timing.
timing
Is all. Now, James, the more perceptive of you will have noticed, has been away for a couple of weeks on a cruise. Yeah, all right. Well done. You sat out in the sun.
Yeah, actually,
You shortened your life expectancy.
got a
Congratulations.
secret.
Oh, dear.
I stayed on 2 days in Miami. I thought, well, I've got to get some colour because it looks so sad coming back completely
You
white.
stayed on 2 days in Miami and went to a tanning salon. No?
No, it was actually sunny.
It was actually sunny. And we've got a viewer that either was on the cruise with you or knows someone that was. Scott's emailed in to say, James, I heard you went out of a tourney on a cruise with Rag Ace and also went out in Paris with King 9.
No, it was King 8.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You've
What's going
rattled
on?
the cage. What's going on?
Okay, the one I went out with the Rag Ace was one of the 4 tournaments I played in. It was a tournament, actually, I got off to a cracking start, that one as well. I sort of tripled up very early days, went card dead, then tried to make a couple of moves, ran into hands each time. Now got myself lowish chips. I was now actually on the big blind. Everyone else passes, the small blind just makes it up. The small blind also had been raising me a little bit, which I'd passed to prior to this.
This is the longest excuse you've ever heard, isn't it?
It's not an excuse, it's just it's a
James.
proper poker story.
Yeah.
And so now he actually just makes up the small blind. I've actually got Rag Ace, and I've not got so many chips, I just actually move all in. Timing, not perfect. He had a pair of aces.
A subtle flaw
Yes.
in the plan.
But
Scott also wants to know if we play a lot of online poker and if we win most of the time. Most of the time. Yeah. Yeah, I play quite a lot of online poker, and you play quite a
yeah, I
lot.
play a lot of online poker. I play mainly cash poker on the internet, and I'm happy to say that I'm a regular winner.
There you go. Well, we win more than we lose is the truth, isn't it?
Yep.
The thing to understand, Scott, is that even a very, very good player playing in the right game for their level won't win a massive majority of the time, but they will win more than they lose. I mean, if you're winning 60% of the time you play at level stakes, you're making a good margin, aren't you?
Actually, I don't even think you should bother about what percentage of the time you win.
Neither do I.
The way I do it is, I want to play like a set amount of time or a set amount of hands, and that's the way I think about it. So if I have a session of poker, I'll say, right, I'll play till that time, as long as I still feel good, feel fine. And then I'll just let the result look after itself, because we can't determine when we're going to have a winning session. The cards in the short run, luck in the short run is a predominant factor. In the long run, skill is the predominant factor. So therefore, you just want to say, I want to play a session of cards, and I'll play for so long. And then in the month, I want to play so many hands. And eventually, you've played enough hands that the true result will come through. And if you've been playing properly, the true result will be that you're winning.
And you know what, understanding that completely changed my poker game. About a year into playing poker, I read an article to that effect and finally understood that it wasn't about what I did on a given night. and that what I should do is, if I was going to play in a cash game, I should just go in with a set session in mind, and when the time hit the end of that 4 hours or 6 hours, or whatever it was, get up however I was doing, and go away. Because when you come back, it's the next hand you play. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you do it. The cards don't know. There's no kind of mythical swing or anything like that. It's a simple proposition. The longer you play, the more the skill will kick in.
When he stopped, it was hand number 368. He started playing again 2 games later, it was hand number 369. The cards didn't know. They didn't even know there'd been a break.
Yeah, exactly that. Do adopt that one, guys. Very important. Keep the text and emails coming in. 62211 if you want to ask us anything about poker. Poker at pokernightlive.co.uk is the email. We've been talking about multi-table tournaments, how to get a tan in Miami when you only got 2 days left to impress your friends. And also there's the big Poker Dome tournament, 6 players paying 10 million each. Who is almost certainly going to be on TV. Who would you like to see in it?
Joining Phil Ivey. Phil Ivey's entered already. We're looking for the other 5.
Yes.
Who and why?
Who and why? We've still got 6 players left in our one-table tournament. Each of them has paid $30. We've already got 2 men down. We'll play down till 1 player has it all, no limit hold'em, with the top 3 winning a prize. And the 5 others, now 3 others left, not winning anything, losing their buy-in. And we're going to have carnage here because we've got queens against aces.
Wow.
Can Doggy Hunt get out of it?
Let's see how the betting goes. Well,
excuse me.
He's done a flat raise. And he's done a flat raise back, and it's all in. There we go. Oh, unbelievable. Trip queens and trip aces. No one's got a club. Full house for both players.
Almost makes it worse for Doggy Hunk, I think. He's wasted a full house.
And he was ahead on the second card.
He was. That brief nanosecond of almost incalculable joy.
Yes! No.
Wasn't even, he just got out.
Oh, you think you got, no, I think you're right, yeah. Look at this, trips again, what's going on? Trips again?
King could get golf pro out.
Wowee, trips, 2 hands running. This is some form, isn't it?
Excellent stuff.
Making jam. It's becoming clearer by the second. Okay, and raise from Tommy Lyon from the button, a position raise. He's just got 7-6, and he's great. He's timed it well. Took down those blinds. But the blinds now quite meaningful, 81-60. Now he's followed that up with a real hand. It's nice to pick up a real hand after you've just made a move. Because there's probably more chance that someone's going to have a look at you. But Johan won't look at that. No, he doesn't. He passes. And Tommy goes into the lead. But it's pretty well balanced. And here's the pre-flop fold. We see that Johan has been the most selective, i.e. he's been passing 86% of the time. Making jam, again pretty solid, 80. And naff hands...
Well, look at this, James. The 4 tightest players are the 4 remaining players.
Yes. Naff hands is long gone, no surprise. So, all those people who are desperate to make chips early in a tourney, I know it's very nice if you get them, but the risk-reward of doing it is not great. Because Johan there, even though he's got the lowest chips, you know, he's got good equity in this tournament. So, even if you get to 4th spot, if you get to the last 4 and your lowest chips, you're still in equity-wise, you look in good shape.
Just to explain that word equity, James, for those that...
Yes, we're basically looking at...
What do you mean by that?
We're talking about basically how much is he worth. So therefore, from this position, when he's in 4th place there, what's going to happen when this story unfolds? Well, a certain percentage of the time he's going to win the tournament, a certain percentage of the time he's going to come 2nd, a certain percentage of the time he's going to come 3rd, and a certain percentage of the time he's going to come 4th. When we work out those percentages and we see what the prizes are, we add it all up, Then we divide it by 4, and we'll see exactly what his equity is worth, exactly how much money he's worth at this moment in time.
Right.
Now, we can do the same thing when there are 8 people at the table. Well, obviously, when there's 8 people at the table, then we'll say that they're all equal skill. Well, everyone would have to be worth the same equity.
Yeah.
Because they would all end up first, second, and third the same amount of times. But of course, that will probably not be the case. So there's a sort of an unknown equity to start with, according to different playing skills. But anyway, let's go back to just being level. Each time a player gets knocked out of the tournament, this obviously increases your chance of getting into one of the top 3 places. So your equity increases each time a player gets killed off.
Yes, understood.
So now, when 2 people get knocked out, your equity increases again. So in these early stages, what we're looking at is, say, right, we've got to look at the balance between taking risks early to try and get chips. And more chips will increase your equity as well, because this gives you more chance to get in the prize money, more chips. But very significant is players getting knocked out. And if people get knocked out and you're taking no risk, your equity is increasing without you taking any risk. So this is this very fine balance that we've got to get together. So therefore, this is what we're talking about. Yeah. And after a lot of study, it's been proved that basically by playing far tighter earlier on, your equity increases.
Yes.
By doing this.
Yes. Okay.
It's like the old story, when you've got the last 3 players there, it's often right to, the equity players, right to let the other 2 people kill each other, even though you're going to go into the last 2 with less chips. Your equity increases.
This came up when Mark took me to task on a show. Me and Mark did a show last week, and we were talking about the commentators' tournament.
Ah.
And we're 3-handed.
Yes.
And I threw away some table hands
yeah.
when we're 3-handed because of that idea.
Yes, of course.
Because obviously my interest, particularly because it was winner takes all, and I had the chip lead. My interest was in one of you 2 knocking each other out.
Yeah.
And not exposing myself to that possibility.
That's right. But in that tournament, for me, I was pretty card dead that tournament. Yeah, however, I got myself to a great position with the cards I got, because I got to the last 3, and from the chips I have, very easy to win the tournament from there.
Absolutely.
So, okay, I end up ace, king against queens against you. If I win that, bang, I'm now suddenly gone to suddenly chip leader.
Yeah.
So
you were never going to win that, James.
No, obviously not. I mean, how can ace, king beat queens? I know it's impossible. But if, just supposing I changed my main to making jam or something and it happened.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, one can still eke out equity by different means. It's not just by making chips, it can sometimes be by tactics as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's fascinating stuff, and you need to start to get to grips with these ideas, guys, if you want to play tournaments seriously for profit. Because it's not just about the chips you have in front of you, it's about your position in the tournament and about what's going to be the most profitable thing for you to do when you think about the rest of the tournament. And that's why tournaments are so complicated, because you have the micro context of the hand you're playing and what the best thing to do in that hand is, and then the wider macro context of the tournament as a whole, whether it's a single table or a multi-table. And balancing those 2 situations is not easy.
No, very difficult.
And it's also the case that there is quite often there is no right and wrong. You can argue different points of view, I think. Because there are a lot of arguments in the poker world. You're looking at me like there aren't.
Well, no, I'm just saying I don't like the thing where you say there's no right, no wrong. I find that phrase confusing.
There's plenty of wrong. There's not often 100% right.
I think I'll agree with you. There's a disagreement, or there's different schools of thought. That's for sure.
Stan is going to lose this big pot for making jam. Needed to win it, and he does. He had the best hand all the way.
Still got 4 of them battling it out here. Let's have a look at this. Interesting. Oh, Johan, no mucking around. He whacks it in with ace-10. He's got called by the pair of 7s.
Yeah, he'll have been hoping he wouldn't have got a call there.
But wasn't in bad shape. He looks in bad shape now. Only 2. Oh, on the turn comes a Life-saving 10 followed by another one. Just to show how easy it really was.
Well, I wonder what hands Johan Harren would have done that with, because he had 1,700 left in chips. And if he takes the blinds again, he's pretty much crippled. He'll have lost 960 in the blinds. He'll only have about 800 left. And that extra equity, for want of a better word, that extra vigourish of being able to raise with the possibility that you pick up the blinds for free, means that he can actually look to play a wide variety of hands in that spot,
definitely.
I believe.
And the hand he chose was pretty good, because in this case it plays well going all the way to the river anyway, because he's got no judgment to make with it, whereas ace-10 normally is a hard hand to play, because you've got to make decisions all the time. But so this one, it plays well all the way, and also it now gives the guy 8 pairs, which he has overcards for.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. We're down to our money winners, our last 3 players. These 3 will be sharing the prize pool, but who will get what? The blinds are now pretty high at 326.40, so we're going to see some aggressive play.
Is it going to be James's pick, Johan Harren, or is it Nick's pick, Making Jam?
I don't recall making that statement.
You can't have forgotten already.
I don't believe I made a pick. I feel like I've been manipulated. He's doing all right, though. Yeah, go on. I'll have Making Jam, no problem.
I picked you a good one.
And this is 3-handed, the situation we were talking about before.
Stan, the aggressor.
That's very competitive.
It is.
Pretty evenly matched.
Wow. And there's not... Its blinds are so big now, 326 for... Oh, wow, and it's Stan who's made the move. Voluntarily whacked it in there.
I think that's right. Put the pressure on the other guys. He's got king high. He's got a little bit of backup if he gets called. And why does he want to sit there and wait for the blinds?
And he's going to get away with it.
I know we were talking before about passing hands because the other 2 might fight it out. But the problem with this situation is that the blinds are a threat. So big, so the dynamic changes. That's why it's quite hard to teach poker, because you say one thing and then the situation's different and something else is correct.
Yes, he just sounds like a politician. And Johan passed it. I thought he would pass it. No.
I didn't think I could be a politician because of my past, but having seen the Liberal Democrats recently, I think I'd fit in.
Well, you'd be a breath of fresh air.
I would. I'd actually be quite well behaved.
And people quite like goats anyway.
Yeah. We'll move on. Stan's got the ace-9.
Funny little beards, and they look quite cute.
Well, when they're dressed up. Ace-9 for Stan, which is a big hand, 3-handed. He does the right thing with it, and Making Jam is the one under pressure here with the short stack. And he chooses to pass, and we know he had the best hand. He, of course, does not. And what's his plan now? He's now in the horrible situation where he has to pay a blind. He hasn't wanted to take a risk. Johan Harren doesn't mind taking a risk.
There we go. Good aggressive play.
Yeah, it's moves like that that make the difference, isn't it?
It does. Captured huge chips there. Put himself in great shape. Now he's correct just to tactically pass. Has a free shot to get into the final. And it's going to happen.
Unlucky Making Jam there, because he was actually ahead.
And there we are. We saw an equity move there by Johan. Just stood aside, let him play. His equity increased with him doing nothing.
Yeah,
that's a perfect example of equity increasing with him doing nothing.
Absolutely. In the words of David Coleman, Johan Harren's opened his legs and shown his class in the late stages of this tournament, hasn't he?
He certainly has, yes.
He's made some really, really good moves. Nothing, nothing inspired or, like genius level, just really solid end of the tournament play.
Oh, and he put that one down.
Put that one down, that's interesting.
But you know why? Because he knows he's got a substandard hand, and he knows he's still got chip lever. He's still got him covered in chips. I think that was his decision.
Well, yeah, he's been unlucky, yeah. Stan calls with the queen high and hits it straight off.
Yeah, he actually got himself in the situation, basically, he's still alive just, but he got himself in position for the tournament where he actually was favourite. He had the ace against the queen, So you have a good spot for it. Let's have a look to see what he's got. Still got a little bit left.
Well, he can double up.
Yep.
We could see a great comeback.
The great comeback of all time. Oh, and look, oh my goodness. I think it's all over. But it is now. There we go. Tripperoonies for Stan the Man. Johan played well. Very good.
Well, we didn't see Johan make many mistakes, and that's all you can do, isn't it?
No, he actually got his money in great at the end. He did that pass, but ended up with the better hand.
And that was a graph that didn't work. But if it had worked, you would have seen Johan's line would have been the most interesting, because he played very solidly early on, and then made his chips towards the end, which is what we'd normally recommend you do in a sit and go.
Did you draw the line for him?
I just drew it in cyberspace using the magic of my hand.
Amazing.
Yeah, oh yeah. I've got all kinds of tricks. Very quick email. Making Jam has emailed in to explain where his name comes from.
Oh, right.
And we can't say where his name comes from because it's a family show. It does involve his wife, and that's about as far as I can go.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Making Jam. Could you perhaps email again and make something up that I can actually say to the rest of the viewers who perhaps have a slightly more sanitary view of the world? Would that be all right? He says he'll sponsor me towards the 10 million.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he'll give me $5 towards the buy-in at 6 to 1. Don't know how that works. And then I'm supposed to pick someone else. And if I pick Dr. Tom, he'll give him $5,000 at 6 to 1. What's that saying? He says he's not picking favourites. I understand what it is, Mickey Jam. What you're saying is you don't want me to go to Australia and have to be off your screen for a couple of weeks. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
He's smart.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Lovely. Guys, we've got lots of emails to get through. We're going to have to go for a break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a big hatful of them when we come back. So I know you won't go anywhere because yours is probably about to be read out. If you haven't already emailed again, do it so far, do it during the break. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is how you do it. Ask us anything you like. Who do you want to play in the biggest six-seater tournament in history? What are your questions and queries about multi-table tournaments? Anything connected with poker. It's got off to a great start, hasn't it, tonight, James?
Buzzing.
Buzzing. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back with more poker and your emails very soon. Lots of emails tonight, guys, so let's get through a few for you now before we get back to the games. Sam, a.k.a. Loomis, says he thinks he'll join the $10 million six-seater tourney that's going to happen in Australia in a few months. And he's got a plan. Oh, good. Stick with it. He's got a business plan. I'll play 10-seater tourneys and simply win a lot of them. Right. Easy. I will make a $29 profit each time I win, so if I start now, I only need 344,828 wins to be there. Brilliant. Good luck. Bit of multi-tabling required, I think. I come out 4,000 at the same time, something like that. But you've got to have a dream, haven't you? Yeah, but that's spending money as well, because he's in American dollars again. See? You got a bonus. Bonus. Good luck with that, Sam. Steve's emailed in, and it's a nice email. It's one interesting one. A nice one. He says, I'm new to your show. After 1 week of solid watching, I think you're doing a great job. I agree with you, Steve. Thank you for that, mate. I'm new to the game. Been playing for 3 months. I read, eat, and sleep poker most of the time when I'm not at work. I've read a number of internet guides and most of Slansky's theory of poker. This has enabled me to double my internet fund in that time. My question is, how do I beat a home game where only a few players know theory, many put in wild bets, and the others seem quite random? Slansky summarises by saying, only play the best hands, I believe, and I've been playing tight so far. This has kept me out of trouble, but I'm never in the chip lead. Many thanks, keep up the good work. It's an interesting question, Steve. Obviously, you're going to be sitting there playing nice and tight, and the other guys are going to be splashing their chips around, so I suppose it can seem like you're a bit out on a limb. James, any advice for Steve? I think Slansky's pretty right here. If they're playing wild, if they don't know what they're doing and the maniacs, basically, you're not going to be able to get them to put a hand down. So let's forget about semi-bluffing, betting with position. All that goes out the window. It's not there. You're going to have to win a hand on merit, and that's all you've got to be aware of. If you ever think there's an opening for you to sneak in the pot for free, or not for free, for cheap, you say, oh, it's come round here, there's no raising. Yes, get in there, try and hit some massive hand if you can. If not, just wait for really big hands, because you're going to have to win on merit. That's all there is to it.
It's maybe a bit tame, it's a bit boring if they're really wild because you have to be really quite selective. But at the end of the day, you will win.
Yeah, the question is whether they're being aggressive or not. If they are playing a lot of hands but they're playing them passively, you can play some more hands yourself because they're allowing you to get in cheap. So you can play some slightly less than premium hands, particularly drawing hands, such as your suited connectors, 8, 9s, 9, 10s, that kind of thing. Hands that will make big hands. James is right, you have to win on merit, you have to win at the showdown, but whether or not they're raising before the flop in a sort of manic way determines whether or not you can do that by just playing premium hands or whether you can get in cheaply with some others.
The problem is, he said to some people there play pre-random, I think is what he said. So therefore, the problem is you can't really come in an early position with a funny hand because one of these random players might just raise it with anything, so you can't afford to call it. So you must be careful about not frittering chips away by popping them, and then this guy raises with nothing and you can't even call it because your hand doesn't merit calling a raise.
Do not fritter.
So yeah, you've got in a maniac type game, that is what happens. It's too easy to fritter chips away.
Yeah, and I think that also beginning players or players that have been playing for a little while and have got into the game and taking it seriously, like you are, Steve, sometimes fall into the trap of thinking it's harder to play against beginning players or it's harder to play against players that don't know the theory. I'm not quite sure why that is, but we do get emails like that a lot. You have a bigger edge against players that are significantly worse than you do against somebody that knows the value of starting hands, trust me. Now, you may need to make bigger changes to your style of play to see that edge realised. That might be true, I don't know. But you definitely want to be playing against people that don't know the true value of hands and make more mistakes.
Yeah, and the thing is, one of my things I like to say is, why should I be winning in this game? That's another thing. Why should I be winning? So we look at this game you're looking at. Well, the reason is no subtlety is required once you get a hand, because these people call anyway. So there's one of your problems out the window. Wonder what should the value bet be for here? It doesn't apply here, just push, because they call anything.
Do you think that's how Steve sounds?
Yeah,
that little voice he does?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right.
Because he's thoughtful, he's read Slansky, it makes you talk like that if you read a lot of Slansky.
I think he's slightly more butch. No?
Well, I don't know what's happening here.
That's what I think Steve sounds like, just a guess. Hope that's helped, Steve. Hope so the rest of you struggling with that. An email from David. This is conceptual, James. Stay with it.
Okay.
Good evening, guys. Just started playing poker 4 months in. Great that we're getting emails from a lot of the newer players. That's good to see. I've realised just how complex and deep this game can be. If you quantify your understanding of the game on a level from 1 to 20, where would you put yourself? You haven't said where you put yourself, David. So where's my metric? How do I know? I would put myself at about 21, 22. I don't know. It's a difficult question. The problem with poker is it's never ending in terms of its learning curve because it generates such an infinite number of situations. In terms of the underlying principles that govern the game, say the underlying structures and mechanics of Texas Hold'em, I'd put myself quite close to a 20. In terms of the number of situations that can arise, my understanding of all those situations and my ability to make the right decision in the moment, it would be significantly lower than 20. What about you?
I really don't even want to score myself. I hope I know quite a lot about it, but
James.
all I want to do is I want to just keep on learning more.
That's the point, really, isn't it? That's the point. You never reach that.
I'm hungry to
score.
learn more all the time.
Exactly. So, something in the teens, I reckon. Jeff is going to Las Vegas. God bless him. Good for you, Jeff.
Vegas.
He's won a trip to Vegas to watch the World Poker Tour final in April.
To watch it?
That's great, isn't it?
How can you... You normally win a trip to Vegas to play in it, not to watch it, don't you? Well done, you've won a satellite. Go and watch the... It doesn't seem right.
I mean, I think it's good, Jeff.
It is good, but it's unusual.
Yeah, the World Poker Tour final is $25,000 buy-in.
Okay.
Well, that's quite hard to win.
No, it's great.
Well, he's won a trip to Vegas.
To watch it.
Don't watch it on his bonfire. Sorry about this,
No,
Jeff.
I'm jealous. It's nice to be there.
Yeah, that's the truth of it. Can you tell me how easy is it for someone to get into a game over there, and where shall I go? It's very easy. You just need to turn up with green folding items, and they will allow you in, I promise. No, joking aside, you'll be able to get in a game, no problem at all. All of the poker rooms are very friendly. If you go over and you say you're from England and you haven't played in an American card room before, they'll tell you what to do. And they have games to suit almost all budgets. They don't have the very small games that you have on the internet. I spent a lot of time in Vegas and lived there sort of maybe 4 years ago now, 3, 4 years ago. And when I was there, the smallest games were 1 to 3 stud, I think I saw. 1 to 5 is more common. For that, you need about $60, $80 to sit down. So, yeah, that's about your getting level, I think. Something like that. So you'll definitely be able to get in a game, no problem at all. And I think watching the World Poker Tour final will be great.
Oh, no,
James thinks it's rubbish.
No, I think it's just unusual to... I haven't heard of anyone winning a trip to Vegas to watch a final.
Well, it's an
before.
event, isn't it? Because of the TV, there's an audience, and I'm presuming that's
Actually, no, the atmosphere will be brilliant. It'll be all the I think you'll probably have one of those sort of rubber hands where you go like this when Phil Ivey wins a pot or something.
You can make an argument, actually, that he's going to see the best poker tournament on the planet. World Poker Tour final, $25,000 buy-in.
It certainly is a contender for that title.
Yeah.
But I reckon the Poker Dome Arena is going to probably...
Well, that's the most exciting. 6 players playing for 10 minutes. I don't know if it's the best tournament because, isn't it who's got the most money? I mean, for example, Bill Gates could go, I want to play in that.
And they say, no, you're rubbish.
No, but he could play.
We don't care how much money you got. Get out.
Yeah, no, that happens a lot in poker. take your money and your lower skill level. We don't want to play with you. Guys, thank you for all the emails. They're coming in thick and fast, which is great. Do keep them coming in. Anything we're talking about that piques your interest, or if you'd like to start us off on a new topic, it is your show. You guys decide what we talk about. Here's how you get in touch. Couldn't be easier. You just need some sort of portable texting device or a web-based browser. 62211 is the text number. And we're also on the email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Gets you right through to the studio and gets your query about this game read out on the air. We should get back to some poker, I think.
Good idea, Nick.
Okay. We haven't had a bit of cash yet. We've had a lot of tournament action at the start of the show, so let's have a bit of cash. We've got a 5-10 cash game.
Sound like spot on, Nick.
Let's see what they're getting up to over there. Take a look.
Look. And there it is, 5-10.
As promised.
Now, this one was really wild last night. There was some crazy play in this 5-10 last night.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I wonder if that is the original The Sea. Because The Sea... But he's got numbers, so I'm not certain. It might not be the original one, because The Sea is a top player.
Yes.
It's a top Scandinavian player.
Yes, he used to play a lot on the 25-50
tables.
tables.
Yeah, but I'm not certain if it was The Sea. It's the... Is it not? Has he got an underscore there?
Yeah.
The underscore C123. I'm not certain if it's the same.
Well, it's a different side to the one that we used to see him on. It could be a different profile. Who knows? And the same. It could be. We don't know. The C, if you're watching, let us know if you're the same guy that used to play on our 25-50 tables. And lower, I think, used to play different limits. But he used to play a lot on the TV, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. And
do we recognise any of the others, James?
Gambos.
Now, was he in Doctor Who? He sounds like one of the rubbish ones with the artificial plastic bits.
Gambos.
I am Gambos.
I am Gambos.
I will lightly tickle you with my extending flange.
I could have been there, couldn't I? I am Gambos.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Hui type voice.
It does. And you look a little bit like Davros.
Do I? Davros or Gambos?
Bit of both.
Oh, right.
So, guys, we are watching
Davros.
a cash game from the internet. A real live game. The numbers that you see under the players' names are the amount of cash dollars they have access to. Real money, and they can, it's no limit hold'em, so they can bet any amount of that money at any time they like.
And we've bet 4 times a big blind from Smony with Ace King. And he's been called by a nitwit Brit with Ace 4, living up to his name. He did have position, however, nitwit Brit, and he did pass once the flop didn't connect, so the jury's still out. He's called with King 9 now.
The jury's clearing its throat and about to announce a verdict, I think.
It is, yes. It's normally when people call themselves like nitwit Brit, they're normally sort of like rocket scientists or something, but maybe...
James, if you were up for a major crime, let's say you had committed murder and you were in trial.
Oh, sorry.
Would you rather your fate was decided... Look, both players have made a flush. Thank goodness, because that stopped my pointless question.
No.
With Brit wins it.
Yes.
Would you rather your fate was decided by a judge or a jury? Interesting, isn't it?
I would prefer it to be decided by a judge who'd been losing a lot of money at poker.
Right. So you're allowing room for corruption. Smony makes a flush, but probably won't get paid on it because Gambos doesn't have anything, except a walk-on part in a 1970s BBC TV family sci-fi show. The players can put down up to $1,000 in this game. The minimum sit-down is...
A ton.
100, right?
Yeah.
Right. So between 100 and 1,000 to play in this game is all you need, and you're most welcome. There's 2 seats open, as you can see. And so, obviously, we don't know how these players have been progressing throughout the night, but if they've got more than 1,000, they've made a profit on their initial buy.
Interesting call here from Waller. He's on the button. He's got position again. He's called the raise, early raise from Ico, up to 4 times the big blind. He's called it with King 8, and look at this. He's clicked the king. Now, what's Ico going to do? He's hit second pair. Yes, I thought you'd bet. He's bet 70 into a pot of 95. And Waller is pausing here. Now, oh my goodness. No. He was teasing and he's now gone all in. I was going to say, if you're going to call with King 8, hit your top pair and decide not to play, it would be peculiar.
I think Ico has to call now.
Well, he's read it correctly and he believes that... I think he just believed that Waller had a king. I doubt whether he guessed he had King 8.
Yeah, but with the ace over card and the jack, should he be calling? I think he was getting about... to be honest with you, I didn't have quite enough time to see the numbers involved. I think he was getting 4 or 5 to 1, was he? Or was it less than that?
I don't think he was getting odds to call.
He wasn't.
And I think he'd asked a question, he'd done the raise, he'd now bet, and his opponent's prepared to go all in against it. I think he was pretty sure his opponent had a king.
Yeah, no, I think that's...
So I think it was a case he asked a question and he listened to the answer. So
well, this is a lively game, isn't it? Nitwit Brit.
This is actually a good game. Nitwit Brit
has made an interesting move, my goodness.
I mean, a dreadful play, really, I would say.
James has analysed it.
Well, it's just a dreadful play. He's put 570 in and...
to win 50 odd.
Yeah, and he's going to be called when he's in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be called when he's losing, and...
Yeah. It's just terribly... you know, people look and say, oh, well, I won, didn't I? Yes, but it was just a terrible overbet. It's just sort of... The risk-reward ratio was completely out of kilter.
Yeah.
And in the long run, you see, this is where people get confused, because on a trial of 1, if you make a mistake like that, you say, well, I won it, so what? Doesn't matter, because it doesn't seem to matter. But you say, well, okay, do it 1,000 times and see what happens. Yep, no shirt on your back. That's the problem.
Well, I think Nitwit Brit might do it several times tonight. We'll see if it catches up with him.
Oh, we'll see if he loses his shirt.
Well, we won't see that, but there's a whole nother show in there.
There is a Nitwit, stripped to the core.
Strip online Poker Night Live.
Could catch on.
Do you know what I think? The popularity of this show would be instantly reversed if we... No offence to
No,
any
I'm
of the players
talking
playing
about not
tonight.
us, but we could have Michelle and Kara.
What are you trying to do, James? Overexcite the viewers and annoy our co-commentators.
Well, not annoy them, I'm just sort of singing their praises.
I'm overexcited as it is. I'm watching poker and commentating on it. That's enough for me. The C takes one down, and we've got a full table in this 5-10 cash game.
See, if Michelle and Kara were playing the game, that would mean a completely different thing, wouldn't it? The C takes one down.
Oh, James, please. Here's the leaderboard, and you can see who's got the money. S-Money well ahead of some of the pack. A little bit of a difference in the stacks and play, and that does make a slight difference in how people play, certainly how they view their opponents. Big Win's just joined us. We're sunning close to the minimum buy-in. Let's see if he can turn a toothpick into a lumberyard.
We're watching. Different skills needed to play with short stacks. You can't be playing drawing hands, obscure hands, because you just don't get paid well enough for them. So basically, you just got to wait for a hand which plays well, whacking it all in, and hope you get a customer. Well, a raise from Mabby.
And we've got a lively game, haven't we?
Very lively. Called by
Which is good
10-7, called by 9-Jack.
These boys know they're on TV. They understand the drama level we require.
Well, they're hitting it. Ace-Queen, continuation bet. Bet 70 into a pot of 105. Ico doesn't like it. What? 9-Jack is re-raised. Wow.
And won.
And won it. Good move, Nitwit.
I think you'll find it increasingly hard to tell his good moves from his mad moves. He likes to make a bet, he likes to make a raise, Nitwit. He likes to have his money in action.
But that
Nothing wrong with that, it's his money.
No, but this was a more calculating play. Because he had position. One of the opponents had kindly passed. And there was a chance that the initial raiser was just making a continuation bet. And so he put it all together and tried a flat raise, which he knows is scary. I thought it was quite a calculated play. So I think he's done some funny plays before, but I think that one he was well in tune with.
Well, Nitwit is definitely putting the life into the game. And he's made some money since we started watching. Let's see if it can continue. Or whether these tighter players
I was very
catch up
critical with his king-queen play, which I'm all-in thing, which I think was dreadful. But I think I still think that was actually a calculating play. He saw his opportunity. You don't look convinced, Nick.
I am convinced.
Oh, you are convinced?
Well, if you said it, definitely. What was it?
And 6 queen 6 is a flop, but no one's got a 6. No one's got a queen. Now what's Nitwood going to do? He's got position again. Is he going to use position? Dwelling up. There's 30 in the middle. He doesn't. And it's S-Money has got the 8. He's got 8s and 6s. And S-Money, I wonder if he's going to call if Nitwood makes a move on this pot now. And he doesn't make the move. So there we go. Nitwood does not just bet regardless.
So your jury's still out on Nitwood, isn't
Well, yeah, it's changing. I was just impressed by, as I said, I really hated one play. Another couple of plays looked pretty awful. But then I just liked the way he spied an opening before.
Well, his style is certainly to be playing a lot of hands.
And now the way he's played this hand is actually backed up a little bit that he actually was a good selective play before, because he played this one completely differently.
Yeah.
It's not like he does it every time. So he was a matter of being selective when he did it. I'm sure he's a guy who plays a lot of hands, that's for sure, though.
You're listening to the knowledge-laden tones of James Browning. I'm Nick Wealthall, and as you'll know, this is Monday night. I'm sure you're going to stick with us for the duration. Getting off the week to a great start on Poker Night Live. We've already seen some fantastic poker, and there's lots more to come. We're after your texts and emails, as I'm sure you know by now. Just in case you've forgotten, just in case you need that extra nudge to get you to your keyboard and press the send button, here's how you get in touch. You can text us on 62211 about anything connected with poker. It doesn't matter if you've just started the game and you've got a basic question for us. That's all well and good, no problem with that. Or if you've got a more complex question or an anecdote, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the email. And why not talk to us about any of the subjects we've covered so far? Multi-table tournaments, poker cruises, how to make jam, the nice way, and who you want in your lineup at the biggest poker tournament in history. $10 million buy-in they're going to have in Australia at the
Poker Dome Arena.
There you go. Coming up pretty soon. Phil Ivey is already in, and he's waiting for 5 competitors. We could speculate on who they actually will be.
Yes.
I'd be amazed if Daniel Negreanu wasn't there, because he likes a challenge. You know, he's been doing these heads-up challenges at the Bellagio, and I imagine...
Oh, that's finished now. That's finished now.
Is he finished?
Oh, no, at the Bellagio. He was doing them at... he was doing them at Wynn's...
Sorry. At Wynn's Place.
Wynn's Place.
Yeah.
He's left that now. And he's actually looking for a new place to...
I'm not up with current events,
am
I? Well, if he doesn't...
But you are now.
If he doesn't have the backing... I don't know, 10 million, so much. Well,
yeah. No, Negreanu will have. He's got loads. Yeah.
What is it in American money? $5 million?
No, a bit more, about $7.5 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's only a few players that have access to that, and they play in the big game in Vegas.
There'll be people who are prepared to back these top players anyway.
For the
show.
show.
Get sponsored, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, maybe it'll be the start of corporate sponsorship,
listen,
in fact.
People like TJ Cloutier, I think I mentioned it to you before, he's been backed all his career.
Yeah.
Right, he's a successful player, but he's been backed all his career. So yeah, people would be happily sponsor them. But so I think Negreanu would certainly be a contender to be there.
If it was in America, Doyle would definitely be there, but I don't know if Doyle's going to be going to Australia to play.
I think...
He doesn't have to.
John Juanda, because he's way up there on the tournament rankings. A very consistent player. It's possible that he could be there. Chris Ferguson.
You'd have thought you would definitely see 2 or 3 rich wannabes that put themselves into. I mean, Larry Flint, for example, might do.
I know
the Texan banker whose name I can never remember.
I know who'll be there.
Yeah.
Barry Greenstein.
Yeah, Barry Greenstein.
Because he's a guy who gives all his tournament winnings to charity. Can you imagine that? 60 million to charity for winning.
Well, he's given 3 million to charity. Extraordinary. Fabulous. And he's written a very entertaining and pleasurable read.
Ace on the River.
Ace on the River. Have you read it?
I'm just helping you. I haven't read it yet. I've got it. I haven't read it yet.
It's a beautiful book. It's probably the nicest poker book in terms of the presentation, the photographs. It's a really lovely book. It's a brilliant present. If you need to buy something for somebody that's into poker, Ace on the River by Barry Greenstein is a great book. It's not a particularly strong educational book, although it does have some tidbits. It's more just about being a poker pro. So in that sense, it's educational, but it's more about the lifestyle and different elements of the game. It's a really good read. But he is one of the top cash game players in the world, isn't he?
Oh, yes. A very, very successful cash player. But I mean, he's obviously done well in the tournaments as well.
Yeah.
A good all-round player.
Very few players play to an excellent level in tournaments in cash. Oh. Very few.
Of course, Phil Ivey is, of course, one of them.
Yeah,
Phil Ivey now is basically predominantly a cash player now, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But he's mastered both arts, hasn't he?
Yeah. Slip in a quick email from Johan. Also from Mara Stronger. I presume that's your screen name. Thank you for the email, mate. Before I start, I'd like to say watching the show is better knowledge than reading any book, so keep up the great work. That's very kind of you, and something we'll struggle to live up to. However, your comments tonight about the six-handed tournament, his lineup would be Phil Ivey, of course, Howard Lederer, Gus Hansen, Greg Raymer, Chris Ferguson, and the Devilfish would be a fantastic two-handed matchup. Pretty good matchup.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to just pop those down because we'll keep a little track of this.
James putting them into the matrix.
Yes.
Lederer, Hansen, Raymer, Ferguson, the Devilfish. Could you guide me on the best way to make money on the internet? My goodness. Start a successful e-business. I don't... You mean poker related. I watch most nights, and when Torskus is playing, he never seems down. I know he's tight, but I don't seem to just get away with that. Johan Harren also seems to make a lot of money. What is their secret? Well, you have picked 2 of our regular players who do well on the show. Torskus is predominantly a cash game player, although he does play some tournaments. And Johan Harren is almost... well, no, he does play cash as well, but we often see him in the tournaments, don't we?
Yeah.
Both good players, and I think the thing they've got in common is that they both know good, solid poker. Their fundamentals are excellent. They know the value of starting hands. They play very well after the flop, and they make good decisions. So their fundamentals are excellent, and you do need to get them. If they're not working out for you at the moment, it probably means you just need to get a bit more experience and refine your knowledge a bit. But the other thing that I think both those players have is vital to being a very profitable player, and that is the ability to back their judgment. When I've watched them both play, if they think it's the right time to make a move or a bluff, or if they think it's the right time to lay down a good hand, they'll do it without hesitation. And as you play more poker, you accumulate knowledge and experience. Some of it in your conscious brain gets processed in the moment. A lot of it in your subconscious brain will get fed back to you in terms of gut feel. And you need to listen to all of that. And you must have the ability in the moment to back your judgment as a poker player. Otherwise, all knowledge in the world counts for nothing. Because it isn't, being a great poker player is not about how much you know, it's about how much you can bring to a situation when that situation arises.
Definitely.
There are many players that I've met that are excellent in terms of their knowledge, but when they sit down and play, they haven't got it because they can't, pull the trigger on a difficult call.
That's right. It's just the sporting analogy I use for this is, I remember, I'm a great tennis fan, Steffi Graf. Watch her in practice with Heinz Gunther, coach. She'd hit topspin backhands like you'd never seen in your life, better than any girl on the tour. She went in a match, she wouldn't hit one. Because she couldn't take that as great as she was, one of the greatest lady players ever, she couldn't take that topspin backhand to the match. She couldn't reproduce it, except when she was 6-love, 5-love up, then she might hit one down the line or something. But, so it's what we know about the game. Can we reproduce it under pressure?
Yeah.
And that's what Nick said is very, very important.
It's the difference, I think.
It's the difference, yeah.
And I did always fancy Steffi Graf.
Did you?
I don't think that's going to help you, but...
It's not going to help you either. I think Andre's sort of firmly in there now.
I'm taller than him. Have I got a chance? I think he beats me on almost everything else. Only height. Oh, and I tip better than him.
Yeah, you've got more hair.
According to Vegas dealers.
You've got more hair than him.
Yes, come on.
Yes.
It could still happen.
It could.
Guys, we would love it if you got in touch with the show. Many of you already have. Probably too many to deal with in one show. But, as you know, we pick the best emails, the ones we like the most. So do keep getting in touch. You've still got 2.5 hours of Poker Night Live tonight. So take this chance to get your queries answered. That is why we're here. You decide what we talk about, and here's how you do it. Just text 62211, 62211. Or if you prefer, the email is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Now, while we've been watching poker and taking the emails and getting on with the show, the multi-table tournament has been progressing in the background.
It's jogging along there. Look at the chip stacks. We've got 18,000 there for Ice Stedford. Well, there's lovely.
So the blind's up to 300 and 600.
And he gets that with a pair of nines. Yes, 300, 600.
Firmly into the middle stages of the tournament. And actually a little bit further along than that. There are 4 tables left, James. So getting down to the business end of the tournament, if you like.
Definitely, 4 tables. We can start sort of... we can see that final table just... looming in the distance there.
I do love the final tables. And Loomas is the chip leader, as we can see there, with 37
that's Loomas who's wanting to enter the Australian, isn't it? The very same.
Is it the same one? Because I know Loomas often plays on the often plays on our tables and often contributes to the show.
Could you send an email in earlier?
I don't recognise the 2K4.
Ah, right, okay.
So I don't know if it is the same. He did email before, yeah, Loomas emailed before, but I just don't know if it's the same guy.
Might be different Loomas, okay.
Ping us an email if it is you, Loomas.
Perhaps all the Loomases could pool their winnings together. It'd be quicker to get this entry for them. The Loomas team.
Could happen. Would be a beautiful thing.
We could manage them. Team Loomas.
I'm so busy. I'm not busy. I've got a lot on. Well, we wish you the best if it is the Loomas that we know. Wish you the best if it isn't, of course. But one of the interesting things about multi-table tournaments is the big differences in stack sizes when we get down to this situation, James.
Yep. And you've got to keep on checking your situation according to those blinds, just as always. see exactly how much play you've got left. Mopper, a much needed win there to keep him jogging along. We can see we've got a couple of players at the table here, certainly getting under pressure now. We've got Bruno, 3,550, bad shape, less than 6 big blinds. And the Gunner, 4,008. Getting near panic time, not quite there yet. Ace 265, so it's a pair of fives for Nipper. And, Bruno hoping for a 3.
So we get a lot of emails when we talk about multi-table tournaments, James, about players who understand the value of hands, and and see Bruno's got a difficult decision here. May end up going out of the tournament. No, passes. Good pass, as it turned out. They get down to sort of 4 or 5 tables left, maybe sort of crawl into the money, but they're short stacked. What do you think players do wrong the most? We're not talking about beginning players, we're talking about players maybe at an intermediate level, been playing for 6 months plus, and have some understanding of the game, but perhaps haven't quite got attuned to how to play a multi-table tournament effectively. What do you think they do wrong, and what can they change?
I think what happens is they miss the time when they've still got, they perhaps have had they have been a bit card dead, or situations have been gone against them, people are always raising ahead of them and they haven't got a hand they can call with. That can happen to anyone. But I think they miss the opportunity when they've still got enough chips to be able to get people to put hands down.
Yeah.
Because if you just rely on winning hands, your job is much, much harder. Because the more time that you go to the finishing post, the harder it is to win the tournament. Because it's just a multiplication of what your percentage chance of winning that hand was, multiplied time and time again. The more times you go there, the harder it is to win that tournament. So you need to try and take down pots without being seen. Get people just to surrender. And they miss the opportunity there where they've still got enough chips to bash people out of the pots.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the mistake they make.
Yeah.
Then they make the move and they say, oh, so how could he call me with that? I say, well, because you got so low on chips, he decided he would.
See, I think players do spend too much time worrying about the hand they went in on, which almost always plays itself.
Yeah.
And not enough time worrying about their overall tournament play and how to accumulate more chips so they don't get to that point.
Because the nature of this game is, it's a big bet game. It's no limit poker. So therefore, it's a game of situations. It's not just a game of cards, it's a game of situations. Now, if you're watching the early stages of a limit poker game, well, you have to play proper cards because they are going to be seen. So therefore, it's a game of you have to get good cards. You're not going to be bluffing people out of pots. It isn't going to happen. But the big bet poker is a game of situations, and you can pick your opportunities, see the right time, take note of the blinds who are least likely to defend their blinds.
Yes.
And you're picking up data all the time as you're at the table. I had an interesting situation in one of the tournaments while I was on the cruise. I'd actually, unfortunately, got pretty low stacked, but in the cruise we had running antes. Now, the running antes does make a bit of a difference.
For those that don't know, that means
everyone has to put an ante in.
Yeah.
So at whatever that level is, they might have to be putting 500 in, etc. So there's always extra money in the middle, as well as the small blind and the big blind. I'd actually gone lower than I wanted to because people had been making moves before me. I didn't have a hand at that time. too many people there. Just the situation wasn't right. I'd had a situation now when I was on the small blind, and it looked like it could have been the right time just to have the battle of the blinds. I really had an exceptionally poor hand. I think it was something like 8-2 offsuit. And I decided to wait for another opportunity. Without the antes, maybe I couldn't have done that. But with the antes, there is always that lump of antes in the middle, which is going to be giving me good odds.
Yeah.
So I actually passed this hand. Whereas in a normal tournament, maybe I'd have said, oh, come on, let's just shoot. Or I'd have had to go with him with it or whatever. But so I passed it. I waited now, I think it was a couple of hands, and the situation came. There was a small blind, the big blind. Everyone had their antes in. This guy now makes a raise, quite a strong raise. I'd seen him make raises before with pairs. I'd actually just got king-jack offsuit. So I just decided to call. Well, that's all I can do. That's all I don't even know as much money as he's put in. I call with the king-jack. I'm hoping his raise has bashed everyone else out the pot. It did do. I've now got the lovely situation. I've got the big blind, I've got the small blind, I've got all the antes, and I've got him matching my stack of chips.
Yeah.
All of us. He actually turned over a pair of sixes. My king-jack offsuit. I think I hit a jack. Thank you very much. I was back in the game.
Yes.
But that was a matter of just playing situation. And now I'd have played that with lots of other hands other than king-jack. I was waiting for the guy to make a raise who I thought would make other people pass. Right, I'm putting my chips in.
Yeah.
I had the added extra here that I had a hand where I thought, I have got history that he's done this with a pair before, so I can actually imagine a hand where I'm in not too bad shape against.
Even better.
So that was even better. That was a bonus.
The dead money is such an important part of tournament play, isn't it?
That's what made me sort of salivate. I saw all this dead money in the middle there, all those antes, that small blind, the big blind. Oh my goodness! And he matches my chips.
Well, the thing about
what a wonderful situation.
The thing about the running antes is that, to my mind anyway, if you're in a tournament situation and let's say the blinds are 100, 200 and there's an ante of whatever, 25, that might be a bit high, but there's some situation like that, you don't have to, in my experience, increase the amount of your first raise, or if you do, you don't have to increase it by very much in order for it to have the same effect. It's still 3 times, 4 times the big blind will still have the right effect, but you get all that extra value.
Oh my goodness. Well, what you
of the antes in the middle.
Right, what you want to do there is what you can do in this game is with these antes, if you ever get round to late position, you can actually put in a small raise.
Yeah.
With anything. Because now you're just ending up in this heads-up contest where you're probably underdog. It doesn't matter. You're an underdog where you're both getting huge value.
Yeah.
Because all these other people have decided to sponsor the pot for you.
Absolutely.
We'll all put our antes in and you two fight it out. Yeah, OK, I'm underdog, but look what I win if I win. Thank you very much.
Bear in mind, guys, if there's an ante in the tournament you're playing in, it's more value for you, and you should probably be trying to steal the blinds or raise pre-flop more.
Or even just get in a contest.
Or get in a heads-up contest because of that value in the pot.
That's right.
We're watching a multi-table tournament. We're down to the last 3 or 4 tables. The chip leader is here. That's Lumas. And there were 246 runners in this tournament. First place is over $700, so well worth playing for. And time permitting, we very much hope we're going to be able to bring you the final table of this multi-table tournament, because final tables that we can bring you are excellent, really good for learning and improving your tournament play, I think.
And there's quite a bit of play, actually, in the final of these
Absolutely,
MTTs.
Yeah. We do get to see some really good poker, some really interesting stuff. So stick around for that, guys, and more of your texts and emails soon as well.
Yeah, let's hope we get to that final, because actually also it's quite interesting. You actually get a bit of play in the heads up when it ends up the last 2.
Yeah,
so fingers crossed.
Plenty of opportunity for the players to show their stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
It is. The multi-table tournaments have been in the show for a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and I think the final tables do add a lot. I hope you guys out there enjoy them as much as we do. We've changed tables.
Yes, we've had another look to see what's going on, and actually Lumas has changed tables as well. And the blinds are 4-8, chunky.
We've got 23 players left, James, I'm being told. So
yeah, so that means we're on 3 tables.
all these players have made the money. But they won't be too interested in that. They will now be shooting for the big prizes. They've come this far. They've beaten 200 and odd other runners.
And again, you'll see that the majority of money will be in the top 3 places.
Yeah.
Which is, but there's a sweetener if you get close. So, Loomas, Jack 9, I don't think he'll be trying anything with that. So it's going to be Battle of the Blinds. Gilberto just makes up the small blind with his ace-9. Oof, what a flop.
Unfortunately for him, rinse out doesn't have much to pay him with, but he might try and bluff it.
He checked it, hoping for a bluff from his opponent. Well, he could have given his opponent a flush draw. He doesn't know.
I think he can check again if he wants to. Takes one down and round we go.
A motley array of cards. 6-2, 6-4, 9-5, 7-2. There you are.
So you were telling me you played in a multi-table on the cruise.
Yes.
And finished 3rd.
Oh yes.
Well done.
342 runners, and I finished 3rd.
Well, that's awesome. Well played. What really interested me, though, was the fact that you didn't have many hands at all.
No, actually, it was a weird tournament, and this is the absolute truth. My best hand I had was a pair of kings in the whole tournament, and the second best hand I had was ace-queen.
So you didn't have the cards, but this is interesting to me, and I know to the viewers, because what is interesting is learning how to do well in tournaments without the cards, because we have a fixed time period in a tournament, and there's no guarantee that we're going to see a lot of big premium pairs. So how did you, in that particular tournament, just to give an example, what kind of moves did you find were working, and how did you get some chips for yourself?
Right, it was basically it was that tournament was a strange one because I had, for an eternity, I just seemed to be hanging on by fingertips. I just never really had any chips for a long, long time. The fortunate bit is when I got the kings, I actually got the kings at the final table, and someone had raised, and now I re-raised, and I actually get called. And at that time, that gave me a nice
But you
boost.
got to the final table in a 300-runner tournament without having a premium pair?
Yeah.
I don't want to make your ego too big. But no, it's great. It's great play. But our viewers will be interested in how. How did you achieve this, James?
Right. It was just basically because I had to actually just try. Originally, I just had to try and keep alive by making some plays. I eventually, in position, if I saw the time was right. I'd also been monitoring the players. I had plenty of time to monitor because I didn't have too many hands to play with. So I'm watching what they're doing, and now I'm noticing who, as I said, defends their blinds and who doesn't. And I didn't always pick the same spot, because it's no good saying, oh, I'll always raise when I'm on the button, because if you're not getting hands, you think, well, they might see through this. So I didn't deliberately raise on the same spot all the time. When I had to make my move, and I thought it's time I did something, I would actually vary it slightly. I still wanted to be in late-ish position, but I would be using my best techniques to be looking around, seeing if someone looked disinterested in their hand. I was using everything I could, because I didn't have anything else to play with. So if anything, it did make me focus on that, which was a good thing. I was more aware of my opponents than maybe normally I am. And so I managed just to sort of stay alive by basically taking down blinds and just kept myself going and going. And then I had I think I had obviously a hand with a smaller pair or something, which maybe I connected with, or then I was in late position, so I limped with something, made something, or then had a positional semi-bluff play and then bet people out of it. Because they hadn't seen too much, and it wasn't by choice, of course, when I made a move, they were a little bit suspicious.
See, I think that's all great stuff, because I maintain that being a good tournament player is not about playing the cards. Now, obviously, the cards have their place, but actually what you're trying to do as a tournament player is look for opportunities. That's the key phrase. You're looking for opportunities to increase your chips with the minimum amount of risk. So opportunities where you're unlikely to meet much resistance. So when James says he's looking for players that don't defend their blinds, that minimises his risk, because the amount of resistance he gets to his raise is minimised. So one of the things we need to be doing when we're trying to do well in the tournament is looking at how players play their blinds. Who are the tight players? who are the players that will throw away almost any hand because they don't like playing out the blinds. And that's just one of the moves that you can make. And then it's about combining a whole array of moves that give you the chance to take chips, but without putting too many chips at risk. So we're not talking about making big all-in moves until we have to. When you have to, when the blinds get big, that's a different kettle of fish. But for as long as you can, you want to be putting as few as your chips at risk, but still trying to accumulate chips. I think that's the recipe, really.
Yes, and then early on, it wouldn't just always be an all-in play. When I had some chips and was still keeping alive, it'd be a matter of, again, pitching a bet, but making it sort of a correct-sized raise, a sort of raise which looks like, ooh, he's got quite a good hand. This is not just a desperate play, he wants to bash me out of it. So you've got to have the courage to be able to put in 3 times a big blind and say, look, proper bet, I've got a good hand. Maybe you haven't, but you just got... If you just always go on and say, come on, you're just desperate, pal, and they'll probably just call you down.
Yeah.
So again, you've got to vary it. You just can't go to the well with the same story all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time later on the tournament I was getting desperate. Under the gun, I put in the raise. This time it was all in. Under the gun, all in. Pass, 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 pass. The guy on the blind passes and turns over his ace. So I actually keep my cards in front of me.
Yeah.
And I said, how did you put it down?
Oh, the theatrics.
He said, well, I don't... I said, well, your kick couldn't have been very good. He said, no. He said, no, it wasn't. I said, yeah, well, so if I've got an ace, then... Oh, yeah, if I dominate you, then you're about 11-4 against. And if I've got a pair, I said, oh, then you've only got 1 overcard. He said, yeah. I said, oh, I see.
He's thrown a bit of maths at them.
So,
anyway, it's
anyway,
interesting,
I
James.
then passed my Queen 10 without him seeing it.
There you go.
But it was a different move. I had to try something different. OK, I was in a desperate situation when I got the last 51. I had a funny situation. I've got...
Can you save that one?
I will.
Save that one.
Oh,
we'll come back to it. No, we need text and emails. Otherwise people will say... It's brilliant, James, but where's my email?
OK, we've got to read them.
We've got to read them. It was really good stuff, though. I hope that helps you understand how a top player thinks when they're in a tournament. Please don't bemoan the fact that you haven't got any cards, you didn't see any aces, kings or queens, and you went out of a tournament, because that's not what makes a winning tournament player, trust me. We'll quickly get through some texts and emails. MG's texted to say, what is splitting the blinds? I'm going to Vegas, and I hear it's done there on cash games. It's called chopping the blinds. If someone sitting to your right asks you if you chop, they're not trying to induce you into some sort of cultish activity or a narcotic. What they're actually doing is asking you if you share blinds. And what that means is if everybody passes and it comes around to the small blind, the 2 blinds agree to chop their blinds, so they both take back their blinds and it goes on to the next hand. So the hand isn't actually contested. It's a money-saving tip. We've got a good one from Steve, a.k.a. Balrog. I enjoyed this email, Steve. He says, evening, Nick and James. It's all gone pear-shaped. Catastrophe. I've been trying to add a bit of the old looseness to my play and now can't stop doing things that I thought I'd not do again. Oh, dear. For example, I raise from the button with ace-jack, get re-raised, so I re-raise all in. Steve, you mental. I keep flat calling with pairs and connectors, not just the odd time at nearly every opportunity. I've decided to have a bash at loosening up and I can't seem to find the drawstrings to pull things back in again. I've joined LPA, Loose Players Anonymous. He says, my name is Steve and I am a loose player. I last made a loose play and got stuffed 20 minutes ago. This loose thing seems to be doing nothing at all for me. Any ideas how to curtail this dirty habit I've developed? Well, Steve, you've taken the first step and that's admitting it to yourself. All right? You're taking the second step, which is to share it with friends. Now I'm making an intervention. It's ruining your life, Steve. All right? Not just you, but the people that love you. We care. Stop doing it. It's that simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just don't... just say no, goddammit. Steve, the bottom line is, I know because we've seen you play and because you've emailed the show, you know what wins. So it's up to you. If you want to have some fun, play whatever you like. But if you want to play winning poker, you know the hands that will win poker for you. And you know when you get re-raised, because you've watched the show enough, that normally means somebody's got a strong hand. So those ace-jacks, those ace-queens want to go in the muck. You know the right thing to do. Listen to your heart, buddy.
Do it some of the time. Just a very small percentage, though.
Yeah, I think he needs to go cold turkey for a bit.
Oh, probably, okay.
And then he can start doing it some of the time. That was a fun email, Steve. Thank you for that.
It was great.
You got 30 seconds on this one, Mr. Browning. I think that will be tricky, and I'm talking slowly, which doesn't help. Jason says, please can you explain tilt and how to avoid it? Well, I'll do what it is, which is it's when something happens in the game, usually a bad beat where the odds go against you, and it affects your emotional balance, so you get angry or upset or whatever. How do you avoid it, James? That's the key question.
You just take a deep breath and don't worry about this weird thing which happened, and just evaluate the play of the hand, nothing else. Just keep on always trying to make the correct decision. Don't let your mind be perverted by sort of unlucky factors which have taken place.
That's right. Your emotional state will not affect the cards that come out in the next hand. Bear that in mind. Thanks for all the texts and emails. Do keep them coming. Quick break now, guys, but we're going to be back very soon. Welcome back, everyone. This is Poker Night Live on a Monday night. We're halfway through already. Can you believe it?
Oh.
And guess what? The second half's the good half.
Whoa.
So brace yourself every night. Honestly, it's pathetic. I do apologise. Thanks for your response tonight. As ever, you've been great on the text and emails, guys. Keep them coming. 62211. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. We'll slip in a couple more before we go back to the game. We've got one from Mark in London, who's emailed to say, great show as always. It's very kind. He was recently, the other Saturday, watching the Arsenal game in the pub. And the game was so bad, they said, sod this, let's go to the Gut Shot. I'm paying. That's all right, isn't it? The Gut Shot is a card club in London, for those of you who are not Londoners. Anyway, when we got there, we saw Stephen Hendry and Mark Williams were playing in the £100 multi-table tournament. Two top snooker players, for those of you that are not snooker fans. We had 1 minute to enter, and we did. 67 runners. To cut a long story short, after 7 hours, I won it. So congratulations.
Fantastic.
A success email.
That's
what
nice.
we like to see. It's always nice when you weren't intending to play, and then you play and you win.
Yeah.
Gorgeous stuff. And
Money
he's given
from
us
heaven.
Yeah, he's given us some hands, which unfortunately I haven't got time to read out, Mark. But thank you for that. Sounds like you played very well. And he says, get down to the Gut Shot, everyone. There's lots of value there, which I think is a dig at some of the world's top snooker players. And their poker playing ability. You want to watch out that Stephen Hendry. When he turns, ooh, he's not. He comes over as a lovely bloke, actually, Stephen Hendry, doesn't he?
Oh, he is. And very focused poker player.
Have you played with him?
Yeah.
Would you rate him?
Yeah, he's constant. What he takes to the table is he takes his qualities from the snooker table, which is his focus and his concentration. He's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of snooker players that are doing well at poker, and that's why, I think.
Yes, there's loads of them. I said Mark Williams, he's just sort of got a bit more flair with the snooker, and he's got a bit more flair in the poker as well. He's just sort of a livelier player.
There you go, and you can't get the personality out of the game.
Jimmy White, the same. Now he's even livelier still, just as he was with the snooker.
Yeah.
So people's personalities does come out in their game.
Interesting, isn't it? And lots of celebrities playing poker as well now, which is fun. Wayne's emailed in about the
poker.
Who would he like to see in his ultimate six-seater poker tournament? He would like to see if the players actually paid the buy-in themselves. I think you'd have a pretty short table, unfortunately. There aren't many. I think there's probably only a handful, maybe 5 or 6 players with access to a few $1 million. Joe Hasham, he could play, current world champion.
Yeah.
Anyway, his lineup would be Gus Hansen, Phil Ivey, Dave the Devilfish, Phil Lake, I presume you mean Phil Lack, the Unabomber, Chris Ferguson. He says if Phil Hellmuth has been known as the best ever player, he would have to enter and get knocked out first hand to a horrible outdraw. It would be worth the viewing just to see him moaning about it. You see, this is the thing, people complain about Phil Hellmuth, but they love watching him, really.
Yeah.
He adds colour.
They want to hear him moan.
And flying furniture to the poker scene, which is important. Some good nominations coming in for the $10 million tournament, can you believe that? Do keep the emails coming in, anything you like, including your questions to us. We've done quite a lot of talking in the last bit of the show, so we're going to get back to some poker. Let's have a look back, dropping in on our 5-10 cash.
Oh, brilliant.
Do stay with us, though, guys, because a multi-table tournament will not be far away.
Here we are, back in the cash. We've got Gambos there with king. He's got a pair of kings and takes it down.
I said, do stay with us there, as if in some way the cash game's worse than the multi-table. They're different, aren't they?
They are different.
And we know out there we've got fans of both, so hopefully we're catering to all of you. That's the money in play at the moment on our leaderboard. A big difference in the... there's about $5,000 or $6,000 in play. And a big difference in the stack size.
Massive, from just over $100 up to nearly 2,000. And We've got aces there. S money. Probably going to get some more money, I think. He does.
It's Mo money, James.
It's Mo money.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh.
Don't stop. Keep talking, because I don't really know what Mo money means. I've just heard young people say it.
Ah.
So.
Sounds like sort of a Motown song or something.
Yeah, no. 10-4 for Caradas there.
Mo money.
Mo money. So this is a cash game where the players can put down up to $1,000, and the blinds are 5 and 10, and they'll always be 5 and 10. And if you run out of money, you can go and get some more if you like.
Mo money for Mo Mo.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. And obviously, if you're going to put $1,000 down on a poker table, you need to have some serious money behind you.
Yes, because you've got to be prepared to put this down quite a few times if things go wrong.
Well, I think you need a minimum of $20,000 to play regularly in this game.
I would agree with you. In fact, I was discussing this, funny enough, with a top Swedish player when I was on the boat, and we were talking about required bankrolls. He actually thinks it's bigger. He actually thinks for this game you should be 30,000. So
that's interesting.
50% more.
Yeah.
Well, and I certainly wouldn't want to argue, because I think basically you just have to be well funded. The reason is because then you're able to, you're not going to feel under pressure. Because if ever you're playing poker and you do feel under pressure, you're just making life so difficult for yourself. Because a lot of the decisions we have to make are hard enough as it is, without there being any outside pressure put on them as well. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you've had a row with your girlfriend or whatever,
just get rid of her.
Just get rid of her, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not worth it.
Because you can't play poker, and you want to play poker, get rid of her, yeah, you're right.
You can't live with grief, James.
No.
That's the bottom line. Life is short.
And if she is giving you grief, you can't make poker decisions because you're dizzy. True?
Oh, absolutely, it's true. All joking aside, if you...
But you're not joking.
Let's leave me out of this. I was, of course, joking. You should all work on it, relationships-wise. I know I do, for at least tonight. You must be a happy soul when you sit down at the poker table.
Yes.
I've learned over the years I can trace my performance directly to whether I'm happy or unhappy or whatever, poker performance.
Maybe all performances.
They're of a level. I can trace how I do relative to my state of mind. Particularly, actually, let's just be specific. I've never played poker well when I've been
in a bad mood.
In a bad mood, or stressed, or had other things on my mind. I think it's an incredibly difficult game to play well if you're not relaxed about life generally. Because it demands your concentration.
That's quite annoying, really, because if you're in a bad mood, you really want to win to cheer yourself up.
Well, this is the other problem. I think you try too hard to win as well. It is not the game to play if you're stressed. Go down to the gym and punch a heavy bag, or something like that.
Or go out with the heavy bag.
Tell you what you can get, don't you, in this life? Poker is not the game to play to get rid of stress.
No, definitely not.
In my opinion. I mean, maybe some of you find differently. Do let us know, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, if you actually do relieve your stress by playing poker. But I find it's very difficult to play well if you've got things on your mind.
How would you play if you wanted to relieve stress when you were playing poker?
I'd play in a really, really low-limit game.
And you'd be
and I'd raise every hand. Yeah.
Raise. Re-raise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's fun.
They'd be the punch bag, wouldn't they?
That's fun. But just don't try and win money when you're stressed. God, dear.
Yeah, you could be a menace on the play money tables.
Well, there you go. Play money. Maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the way.
No, best to go and kiss and make up and then go back to the poker game, I think.
Unless that's what the argument was about in the first place.
Oh yeah, that'd be sort of like recurring, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Vicious circle.
Vicious circle.
Okay, let's see what's happening. I think these look all like happy chappies and ladies here. Katie Cam. And what's on Katie Cam tonight?
My friend's got a puppy, and he's got a camera in the kitchen where the puppy lives.
Oh no.
And he can access the camera on his phone wherever he is. That's brilliant, isn't it? So he can check up on his puppy wherever he is. Of course, if he's a long way away and the puppy's dying or on fire or something, he can't do anything.
That'd be a bit stressful, yeah.
But he can check it, like he can be upstairs or whatever.
Yeah, if you're looking on your mobile phone and you've got the cam on your puppy and your puppy is dying, it's not a good time to play poker because you're not going to be feeling good.
There you go, good, important tip. Isn't it?
A very good tip. What, you got a cam on his puppy? That's, oh my goodness.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'll tell you what, you're on a write down tonight, James.
No, I'm not.
You didn't want to go and watch the poker in Vegas when Jeff won it earlier.
I was jealous.
You don't want a
Puppy cam.
puppy or a puppy cam. What do you want?
Katie cam.
Well, you can't have it. Unless you're prepared to pay $29.95 a month.
Sounds much better. 3-6 king is the flop. And no one's got such a thing in their hand. Ah, but a jack for Katie.
And for Gambos, to be fair. I know you only have eyes for Casey now.
Well, no, because she's got a bigger kicker. Which is connected. $150. I think overpriced that one, I think. 150 into a 80s pot. Strange price, because I'm sure she must have felt she was winning. So, not a very good value bet, I don't think.
No. We're actually down to 5 players on this table, so it's starting to be a little bit short-handed, the game.
Means you can play with a few more cards. Again, you can play situations.
Well, if I was going to play ace 3, which I wouldn't make a habit of, even 5-handed in first position, I think I'd want to raise rather than limp in. If you're going to play that hand, it's not a hand you want to encourage other players to be in the pot with.
Ace 3, no, it's hardly a hand which is going to find a flop it likes very often. However, it might think it likes this one, but it's got a nasty shock waiting for it. It's bet with a 2 pair, but big win, who's got the trips.
Well, there you go. You play ace 3, you connect with a little something, and you're just in more trouble.
And the thing is, he just called, and of course, big win was on the blind. Of course, he can have any cards at all. So when people say, I often hear them say, oh, well, he can't possibly have something like 7-4. I say, well, hang on, there was no raise. He's on the blind. He can have anything he wants.
Yeah, that limp in for $10 ended up costing Carrad $80, so...
Not good.
Not good.
And the problem with the hand...
if he'd raised, he'd have won the blinds, as you alluded to.
Of course. Yeah. The problem is when he connects with his hand there, he never connects in a good enough way for him to feel confident to win any money with it anyway.
Yeah.
So the likelihood is he's always losing bigger pots than he ever wins with it. Not a good bargain.
Casey Cam is going to make the worst hand in poker pay, by the looks of things.
I think definitely.
7-2, the worst starting hand, but...
Just pausing to making sure that the video cam's fully on this one. The Katie Cam rolling now.
Do you realise you're probably sponsoring a website every time you say it?
Oh, you think?
It might be. It might just be some elaborate way to get publicity, James.
Oh,
and you've played right into their hands.
Ah, yes.
Well, it's a win for Katie Cam. Up to 750.
Katie Cam. Oh, it's quite catchy. Mattis, that's quite catchy. Pair of kings, I'd like to catch that one. Very nice.
particularly with a bit of action in front of you in the big blind.
Yes. How much are you making it?
About that, maybe a bit less.
I'll make it a bit less. I'll probably make it about 90, I think.
Oh, really?
Well, because I don't...
Matty wins it.
He wins it, but I don't particularly just... I want a battle. I want someone there just to call, because they're making... They're going to be making a mistake calling. It's not a tournament where I need to protect my life. It's a money game.
Yep.
So therefore, I don't want to overbet just to make them do the correct decision in pass. Because poker is about making people make mistakes.
Yes, it is.
So if you overbet it, you're making them play correctly. Of course they can't call for that bet. They did it correct. So probably your bet was not correct. You should be making a bet which leaves the door open for them to make a mistake.
Very interesting stuff. Good fundamentals. And Carrad is in a potentially unpleasant situation here. Dominated hand. Fortunately, hasn't hit anything on the flop, so he should be able to get away from it when Big Vin bets.
Luckily for him, Big Bin bet, because if he checked, Karen might have been tempted to try a loose Steve play or something.
I think Steve played. Don't keep saying those words together. You're reinforcing it. We're trying to get him.
Oh yes.
Trying to get him off the drug of loose play.
The old, the late,
the
loose
unreformed.
Steve. No, the now reformed.
Until our intervention.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're back up to a full table.
So we should be. This is a lively game. Well worth jumping into.
James, you're working.
Oh, right. There's another laptop here.
I don't know. Leave it alone.
Just have a look. See what the waiting list is like.
Oh, dear.
Queen 2, very adventurous raise there. Just call with ace-jack.
I hate that play.
What? Which one?
Calling with ace-jack in the small blind. I don't like raising with queen 2, but I prefer it to calling with ace-jack in the small blind. It's just absolutely destined to get you into trouble.
It's very awkward to play, isn't it?
Exceptionally. What do you want to see on the flop? Unless you see ace-jack or jack-jack 4 or something like that, unless you see an exceptional flop, you have absolutely no idea where you are.
I mean, it'd be one of the cases where I would like the ace-jack to be suited, because at least there it's possible to find a flop, more like to find a flop you like, and you've also got a chance to be either drawing or maybe even get lucky and get a nut hand, because out of position you need to be able to have that chance to either be drawing or to have a nut hand, and then at least if you do get it, you know exactly where you are and can hopefully try and maximise your win.
Yeah.
But you need that from from calling raises out of position. But calling out of positions with dodgy hands is again this situation. You just it's very difficult. You always have to speak first. You don't know quite where you are. You might just limp your way to a small victory, but lots of times you'll be going to an expensive loss. Big Kane fan, pair of aces in the cut-off position. That's one before the button.
Do you think he's a big Michael Caine fan?
Sorry?
Do you think he's a big Michael Caine fan?
That's a nice, innocent explanation, yes.
Trying to help. I just thought we might have found the big Michael Caine fan.
Pair of aces dominating there, you can see. A big Kane fan.
Yes. He made a too big bet, didn't he? He
Too
was
big for
only
me.
supposed to blow the bloody doors off, and
Yeah.
he blew the whole thing wide open.
Too big for me. Again, I've got aces in the money game. I want to get an opponent. And especially when he's got position. That's just a sin, what I've just seen there.
It's a sin.
Yeah, that is a money game sin. He's on the cut. He's late position in the cut-off with a pair of aces, and he does his massive over raise. Not good.
No.
It's a poker sin. Now the poker gods won't give him aces for ages now.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, if that's what you do with them, forget it. Until he begs and says, I promise I'll play them properly next time.
Little insight into the mind of James Browning and kind of things he says to himself late at night when he's on his own. I'm sorry I misplayed my aces. Give them to me again.
Please.
You're listening to Nick Wealthall and James Browning, and we're having a great Monday night tonight on Poker Night Live. Some really good poker and good situations, some great emails. Do keep them coming in. We've got over an hour and a half left of the show, so you've got plenty of time to get your question or query read out and answered. Again, doesn't matter what your level of the game. We've got a couple of beginners' questions we're going to deal with at the next email slot. So beginners, expert players, you're all welcome. Couldn't be easy to get in touch and get your query read out live on the TV. 62211 62211 is our text number, and the email is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
If you've got lots of beginners' questions, well, tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow is beginners' night.
Beginners' night. You're not on tomorrow, are you, James?
I'm not on tomorrow, no.
Don't know who it is, but they'll be brilliant.
They will. I bet there'll be a very pretty presenter.
Dr. Tom's not on, is he?
Isn't he? Oh.
We've got Lindsay and Mark tomorrow night.
Is it?
From 10 o'clock, yeah.
Oh, I was right. All the presenters are pretty.
Not strictly true, is it? What?
It is true.
Is it? Yeah, no, very good looking
Not the
bunch.
commentators, I said the presenters. The commentators are a motley bunch.
Yes.
I'm just talking about the girl presenters.
Well, we've got a limped pot that no one wanted to bet at any point. Everybody checks round.
And Karadas with a 10-8. Feels very happy to get paid. Well, not too much out there. Let's see how the betting goes here. Big win? No, he doesn't. Mab. Yep, he's put in a raise. 4 times a big blind. And that's going to be tough to call. And that funny old word equity comes up. His best equity, with not out knowing their cards, you can see there he's actually dominating the queen. His best equity without knowing the cards is that they pass, actually. Because he gets, he won't average $15 by playing it out. Not with queen jack offsuit. But if he saw the cards, because he had, if it was the big blind called and he had him dominated, of course, then he would average more than the $15.
Katie Cam hits the flop.
Yeah, you quite like that name now as well. I could, you said it sort of with a sort of roll there.
Yeah, I think you're becoming strangely obsessed, James. It's just some letters on a screen. Try and relax about it, all right?
I think I've really got into the...
into the game?
Yes.
I mean, that would be nice.
595. Both got 6s. But it doesn't help. So, best hand has gone to Katie Cam. She's got the queen, but does she know she's winning? I doubt it. Checks. Are we going to see a steal? Probably not. No, we don't. And Katie takes it down. $20.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to do a couple of emails during a quiet period in the game. Quick text from Captain. How and when do you check? I just can't seem to get it. I hope I'm not being too thick. Got a game on Saturday. Well, you definitely want to know before then. As we said, doesn't matter if you're new to the game. We know that we've got new people getting into poker and new viewers watching the show every day, so you're welcome aboard. A check is simply something that can happen on any betting round where there's been no action. So if nobody has entered the pot with a bet of any kind, you can check. And what that means is the action passes to your left, but you remain in the hand. Now, just to clarify, on the first betting round in Texas Hold'em, you can't have a check because the blind bets count as a bet.
Yeah.
So you have to match the big blind. We were just watching a 5-10 game. You'd have to put in at least 10 to participate in the hand. The principle being that the betting must be equalised on each round. If everybody checks on a betting round, let's say after the flop, then that would count as the betting being equalised. Everyone's had a chance to speak and they've eschewed that option, and we would move on to the next betting round. That's check.
Yes. And how do you do it? Well, sounds like you're going to be playing a live game, and often the common way of checking is just to go tap, tap.
Yeah, you need to be careful with that if you're a beginning player, because you quite often see beginning players check accidentally because they're
You checked.
Exactly.
No, I didn't know. I was tapping to. I've got my iPod in. I was listening to Mo Money.
The Arctic Monkeys.
Mo Money.
That's what the young people are listening
Arctic Money, #1. It smashed all the records.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I wasn't involved.
Fastest selling.
I don't see what's so remarkable about freezing members of the ape family. I don't understand. I'm not a young person.
They won't appear on Top of the Pops, they said.
Oh, really?
No.
They're too cool.
Nor the Brit Awards.
They're too cool.
They're too cool.
Check.
Rick's tap like this.
Yeah, or if you're a beginning player, just get into the habit of announcing what you're doing.
Check.
As James is demonstrating for us there. It's good.
Check.
That's how he got to be the level of player he is today. All about clarity. Rick wants some advice. He wants to know, how do I train myself to lay big hands down when I know I'm probably beaten? Well, what normally happens is a continual process of negative reinforcement, in that every time you don't do that, somebody takes money off you. And that's very similar to when they do experiments with rats and they put their paw on the wrong thing, they get an electric shock. And what will happen is, as your money goes down, you think I'm being funny, this is actually what happens. As your money goes down, you slowly realise, and it becomes embodied in your body, in your brain, that you don't want that to happen, so you trust that instinct that says you're beaten. Now, I know what you're asking me, how do I shortcut that process? It's not easy. The only advice I can give you is, obviously, apart from analysing the hand, and when you sense strength from somebody, or when somebody shows you resistance by betting or re-raising your bets, those are danger signs, so listen to the danger signs. But the instinct I can give you is, as soon as possible, start to listen to that inner voice that you develop when you play poker. And when that nagging inner voice says, uh-oh, I think you're beaten, then throw your hands away. James and I were talking about it earlier. Beginning players and even intermediate players are often very worried about throwing away a winning hand, whereas good players are more worried about calling with a losing hand. That's one of the differences, I think. So don't be afraid to throw away a winner if your opponent is sending out danger signals by raising you or re-raising you. And if that, coupled with your inner voice, is telling you that you're probably beaten, you need to listen and throw your cards away. Any other ways of sorting that out, James?
No, I think you covered that pretty well.
Thanks, James. That means a lot. That's totally thrown me as well. We'll slip in one more email. Nick, you've actually answered an email correctly. Well done. Score. Chris has emailed, in the Australian six-handed tournament, I'd like to see the following 5 players plus an entry from a computer player. Interesting idea.
A robot.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Probably too short notice, perhaps one programmed by one of the top universities like MIT. My top 5 human players will be a bit predictable. Phil Ivey's already there.
Okay.
Doyle Brunson, Gus Hansen, Dan Harrington, haven't had him yet, and Johnny Chan. First shout for Johnny Chan.
Well, he's a joint leader of the most bracelets, 10, with Doyle Brunson.
And he has the most striking aura of any poker player I've seen sit at a poker table. He really does project strength. He says, I feel chauvinistic for not including a top female player, but unfortunately I haven't seen enough of them to get excited about their poker game.
Ooh, careful, Nick.
What?
Just careful.
I just read out the email.
No, I know, but I can feel something bubbling under. Just careful.
Yeah, it's Katie Cam. It's in your brain.
Okay.
I do think it's very interesting about the robot player.
Yeah.
That adds something a bit different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe, I know people are trying to develop poker programs. Maybe if one of them gets far enough, they might feel confident.
And if it won the money, maybe we could have it.
I'm sure that's how it would work. It will just all come to us by default.
Yeah.
No problem.
Robots don't like money.
They don't, do they? Keep those texts and emails coming in. Lots of time to get yours read out. 62211 is the text. If you haven't got this by now, go to the bottom of the class.
We could have a female robot that would solve everything.
poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the email. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the email. We're going to get back to our game. It's a cash game, but it's a slightly lower limit one.
Okay.
$1-2. We like to show you a variety of limits during the show, and we know that more of our players play at the kind of low limits, if you like. Still got the multi-table tournament running in the background. And
Loads of goodies.
We're very close to the final table, James.
Whoops,
So it won't be too long before we see some of that.
I look forward to that. Robota, that could be it. That would solve all the problems. Robota's just outdrawn Phil Ivey.
I don't think you should be spending your time on the show drawing sketches of female robots that fulfil your fantasies of being great poker players and sex bots at the same time. I think you should be commentating on the game, to be honest, mate.
Quite right.
Yes. So this is a lower limit, and we'll see if we see any difference in play. More of our viewers, this limit will be sort of familiar to more of our viewers than perhaps the 5-10, which is a decent-sized game. Well, this is a decent-sized game, you know what I'm saying.
Yes, the most you can buy in for here is $200.
Yeah, and, you know, $1-2 blinds doesn't sound like that much, but $200, you can win or lose a few hundred very quickly in this game.
Oh, definitely. And once the game's been going for a while, of course, then the stacks can build up anyway.
Yeah.
So actually that then becomes quite a difficult game to play.
Ah, that's interesting, yeah.
Why? Because when you get a disparaging amount of stack sizes, the person with the big stack now has to be careful when maybe there's a smattering of players with really low stacks, because he now is restricted with some of his plays. Because whereas he might be able to make a play if everyone's got equal stacks where he could make a semi-bluff or a semi-move and pretty be sure what with position he's going to get them all to pass, now when you have these small stacks around there, they actually keep him honest because they might just decide to enter the pot. And so it actually restricts your play slightly. So when you're playing, all the time you must be really, really aware of different stack sizes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a massively important factor. There's no question about that. And of course, in tournaments, in the multi-table tournament and the final table we'll see soon, even more important.
Yeah.
It's even more bearing on your play.
And so in fact, all the time you're playing, this is one of the things you definitely should be monitoring.
I'm looking forward to the final of the multi-table tournament, James.
You are?
I am.
All right.
If I was at home and I was thinking it's Monday night, I wouldn't be thinking I should go to bed soon because it's late. I'd be thinking I'm going to get the week off to a belting start and watch this thing through to the end. And that's not, you know, I'm not just saying that, that's actually what I'd be thinking.
Would you eat some fruit as well?
No, because you shouldn't eat fruit, well, you shouldn't eat anything 3 hours before you go to bed unless.
3 hours before?
Mm. Hard to do sometimes, but that's what you should try to do.
Why is that?
Because your body needs time to digest the food that it has.
Yeah.
And if you do, what you'll find is there'll be a relationship between how sluggish you are in the morning and how much and what type of food you've eaten close to bedtime.
Oh, I'm going to have a rethink.
Poker Nutrition Live.
Ooh, even fruit? I thought that would just digest.
Well, fruit's not too bad, but the problem with fruit is you don't want to eat fruit. You know how sometimes people have fruit after a meal?
Yeah.
You shouldn't ever do that because fruit doesn't digest in the stomach, it digests in the small intestine. And if you've just eaten, it can't get through to the small intestine, so it actually ferments in the stomach, which slows down digestion, robbing you of energy and causing an acidic build-up in the stomach. So all this stuff about a piece of fruit after dinner is terribly bad.
Goodness, I do that. Now I'm worried.
Well, stop doing it.
I've got something to eat now.
Good stuff. We are ready for the multi-table tournament, James.
You talked that up well, Nick.
We are down to 6 players in the multi-table tournament.
Wow, they've motored along with this tourney, haven't they?
They have. Caught us slightly on the hop. But here we are. All the important action is still left to come, guys. I do hope you enjoy the final stages of these tournaments as much as we do. And if you're looking to do well in multi-table tournaments, thinking caps on, start taking some notes. This will give you a brilliant education.
Here we are, blinds at 1,000, 2,000.
And 6 players, and they're all reasonably competitive.
Our previous chip leader is still there. That's Lumas. He's not chip leader anymore, but he's made it to the final. Well done. 51,000 he's got. In fact, he's in 3rd place. But he's going to go a bit higher now because he's just won that pot and he's got himself up to 2nd again. Neck and neck with Hall.
Well, this is an interesting setup, isn't it? Because we don't have any short stacks, really. We've got shorter stacks, but we've got nobody that's
no, you're right.
in desperate
In fact,
trouble.
everyone's got play here.
Yeah.
Snakey's even got play. 34,000. That's good for the low stack, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, let's have a look. 10-3. I don't think he'll be taking part in this one.
And these final tables are very interesting because, obviously because the money's at stake and this is the business end of the tournament, but also in playing terms, none of the players are short stack, none of them have to rush, but at the same time, any of them could go out on any hand.
That's right. Well, not quite true.
Technically.
The chip leader can't go out on any hand.
We could get down to 200 chips. Oh no, look, I've got the wrong guy. Hildrey's got the chip lead.
He could virtually go out.
So James, if you're sitting in this final table, let's say you're Weasel. You're sort of in mid position, you're 3rd or 4th,
Yep.
6 players left. Plenty of chips in comparison to the blinds.
Yes.
What are you thinking? What's your game plan at the moment? What are your primary thoughts?
Well, I've still got time to be reasonably selective here because I've got each round's only going to cost me 3,000. Still got quite a lot of play left. I've actually got 31 big blinds. No pressure here at the moment. So as I said, initially I'm now still looking for good hands, but I will still be open to situations. But something like this, there's no way will I obviously contemplate playing with anything like that.
And strategically, are you...
In fact, we'll have a look to see. Let's just focus in on... Let's get our Katie Cam on Weasel here. And,
okay.
And let's just see what we think he should be doing.
what decisions we'd make.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Strategically, I'm still hoping that we know that they started off playing a bit wild on this table because we were due to come to the tournament and then 2 players got knocked out very, very quickly. So I'm still hoping that there's a bit of dead money, that there's some mistakes that are going to be made and I'm going to be able to sit tight and, in your words, increase my equity before I have to do anything dramatic.
Well, again here, this one, he had Jack 4, he didn't try anything. Again, I wouldn't be. Now he's found his patience has been rewarded, he's got a pair of kings.
Just as we put Katie Cam on him.
Yes, exactly. His timing was perfect. And look at this. Now he's put 8,000, he's got 46. In fact, I actually just... This time in tournament here, I actually push it all in that time.
Okay. Why?
Because I've got one tournament life. I don't want to be making any decisions. He's actually pushed it into far more dangerous time. Because unbeknown to him, he could be pushing it in when he's against 2 pair, he could be against a straight draw, he could be against all sorts. So he's actually done it now when it's far riskier. He knows far less than he did before.
Uh-huh.
With a pair of kings, it's unlikely you're going to get a flop, which is going to help you. It's unlikely you're going to flop your king.
Right.
So therefore, in that situation, you're pretty sure that you're big favourite. And I think that time he was good enough just to have pushed that time. The guy had raised 8,000. It's quite a nice bonus for you. And then you could have just pushed it in then. What he's done is he didn't do it then, but he's ended up with the same money, but he's pushed it, as I said, at a time when it was more dangerous. He didn't know what he was doing when he still only had 1 pair.
Mate, so nice fold there. I think he had a pair of 9s.
He had a pair of 9s, yes, he did.
And, watch, but yeah.
And he's right, because another good play, because he doesn't want to be calling here now. He's not under enough pressure to have to be calling.
No.
So therefore he did a good decision there. But what I would say that's the first error he's made. With the kings there, would you agree with that, what I'm saying? He should have pushed it to start with rather than pushing on a flop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Well, if he's prepared to put it all in after he's seen the flop, put it all in beforehand.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So that must be clear.
Yeah.
Because he's a bigger favourite without a flop there than he is with a flop there. Because once he's pushing with the flop there, someone's going to call him just when he's in trouble.
We lose Snakey, and we're down to 5.
And Weasel's equity has gone up by virtue of someone dying.
Snakey takes $123 home for his $10 buy-in.
Well, not bad.
Not bad. Probably won't be giving him much comfort now. He'll have been dreaming of that $730 first prize.
Okay. King 10. Katie, as it's known in America.
Yeah, and look how even this tournament is. I don't think I've seen one as even as this. Usually you have a bigger stack there, but all 5 players are within a few thousand chips of each other.
Okay. Well, he might get a walk here. He doesn't. It's a raise from Lumas. Well, no need for heroics. Good move by Lumas. It's likely that his opponent hasn't got a hand he wants to call with. Weasel, though, correctly put it down.
Yeah, you really... My mentality, if I was in one of these player seats, would be really not to get into situations I don't need to be involved in. I'm still looking for opportunities. I don't want to play defensive poker, but at the same time, it's too easy to get mixed up in some sort of duel in the blinds or try a steal when it's the wrong player to try against or something like that, and feel like you have to make chips. Sooner or later, one of these players is going to accumulate some chips and go ahead of you, but that shouldn't worry you. You've still got tremendous equity in the tournament, and the blinds aren't giving you any reason to panic.
No, as I said, we still look at these. Now got 71,000 or nearly 72,000. Big blind, still 3,000 there. Loads of play. Wow, big move from Hackenhall. All in with pair of 5s. Just heard a bit of poker gossip. There's been a huge poker takeover in Newcastle. Nick. The new casino in the gate, Aspers, has just smashed the opposition into the ground. It's just captured virtually all the poker.
How have they done that?
Just a new
free cake for all players. No? Just
a new casino. They're offering guarantees, but the guarantees irrelevant because they're just going to make it every time. But yeah, they've just taken. In fact, they've even killed the regular Tuesday night.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because that was a great tournament, wasn't it?
I don't understand how they've done that.
I can't believe it. It's unbelievable, isn't it? They've just killed it. They've put the same tournament on as them.
Five players left on multi-table tournament. We did start out with 246, if you can imagine that.
Flamingo Kid, I think we'll see something from him. Yes, he raises up, and Weasel will have to pass. It's a very well-balanced tournament. Lumas on the button, 10 Jack. And he's made 6,775. Weasel just called with King Queen. Out of position. Well, what do you think of that, Nick?
It's a fold or a re-raise for me, James.
Yeah, I hate just calling this out of position. As it happens, he's now made a bet and he's taken it down. So Okay, if he's prepared to do that...
Yeah, well, it's a good flop to bet at, because if Loomas doesn't have an ace, it's almost impossible for him to play.
Yeah, and it felt because he'd done a funny little raise there, Loomas, he probably didn't have the ace, he was thinking. I suppose if Weasel is prepared to be aggressive after he's called, well, then that can justify it. Loomas, King 10.
Well, I don't understand Hackenholz's play there, really. If you're going to call the raise pre-flop, you need some sort of game plan. Maybe he had a game plan and the ace put him off, but I think he just wasted some chips calling that raise with King 8. Nothing to be gained from it.
Loomas, he's been aggressive here. He's got a good hand though. Ace 10, short-handed is a good hand. Ooh, and here we go. It's a pair of nines. Re-raised. That's it. Took it down. Very nice. Because the pair of nines, not so easy to play. He didn't want his opponent really to call that, that's for sure.
Well, Weasel's out of position here. And that's a very small bet. Yeah. Well read by Hackenholz. That small bet looked weak, and it is weak, and Weasel's going to have to put it down now. If he needed a little bit more follow-through there to make a proper-sized bet.
Yeah, he might as well not have bet at all there, I think.
Yeah.
So he's
It's good read by Hackenholz, though. Hackenholz didn't have anything, but made the strong raise.
Flamingo Kid, small blind raises up and re-raised by Loomas. Got the ace-queen, read that correctly. Gets Flamingo to put it down. Let's have a look here. The bar lines. Oh, no good for Weasel there. He's only got Jack 4. Hildry, ace 3, suited.
Running out of chips.
Goes all in. I think he's right.
And lives to fight another day.
Well done. And he's still under pressure there, Hildry. Definitely will need to be looking to get his chips all in as soon as he can.
Yeah. 5 players left, guys. I know you're going to stay with us to see the end of the multi-table tournament. Just a fantastic way to learn how to improve your tournament play. No two ways about it. Rich has emailed to say, this is a success email, which is always nice. Rich has emailed to say, hi guys, great show again. Great tan, James. Making Nick look like Casper, as in the friendly ghost. The thing you have to remember, Rich, is that I am Britain's whitest man. I couldn't be any more middle class or pale. So put it in context. But you've done all right.
I have done all right.
For 2 days in Miami, on a sunbed. I'm only jealous. I might go to Hertfordshire sometime later in this year if I'm really lucky.
They're expecting good weather. Global warming.
I'm all for it. I emailed a couple of weeks ago to tell you how I got into poker after going to Vegas for the World Series of Poker with a friend after he qualified online, and hope for him to qualify again this year. I remember your email, Rich. Thanks for coming back to us. Anyway, Nick, after following your advice, I tried my luck, and I've got half a foot in Vegas because last night I won into a qualifier for the World Series of Poker for just $6. My best achievement so far. Thanks for the advice every night. Wish me good luck. Well, I do wish you good luck, Rich. I hope you play well. Qualify for the World Series of Poker is seriously exciting. And several players across the poker globe won huge money in the World Series of Poker after qualifying for tiny money, including the closest to home example, Tiffany Williamson, player at the Gutshot Card Club in London.
From a tenner.
From a tenner, won $400,000, right?
Exactly right.
Absolutely extraordinary. Thank you for that, Rich. That's a nice email. We like a bit of success, thanks to the show, is always good.
But Rich will be the new champion. If he does it from $6, that'll be the record.
It will be the record.
If he wins the World Series from the $6, that'll be it. It'll be the new record.
And always remember, in the early days, who was there for you, buddy.
Yeah. I will remember it.
I will remember it. Text from Chris, who says, great show. I was on the same cruise as James last week, and he lost in every game he played in. Don't listen to his lies.
What?
That isn't what it says. That isn't what it says. It says he played in every tournament and suffered a huge bad beat in all but one of them. Felt very disillusioned towards the end of the week. Now, this is an interesting question, I think, James. When on a run like this, is it best to take a break because you're playing almost expected to get outdrawn and therefore play badly, or is it best just to play your way through it? So you're on a bad run, what do you do?
It just depends, really. Just ask yourself, what is your mental state? Are you handling this? If you feel fine and say, listen, you're fully aware of what's going on, saying, I think I'm playing properly, I just seem to be getting outdrawn all the time. If I keep on playing properly, that's all I can do, and let's just, I can't tell when luck's going to change, and let's hope it changes soon. If you feel completely composed like that, just keep on playing through it, no problem. If you feel that it's affected your decisions in any way, well then do take a break. Say stop playing, just go and read a bit about poker or something, study it, have a few days off. But if you feel fine, play on.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, a lot of poker's about confidence, and if that confidence is gone, you do need to take a break. But as James says, if you feel fine, you're just having a bad run, there's no reason. Email from Dave, something a little bit different, which I don't get asked about too much, but it's an interesting subject. I hope you can offer some advice. I play a lot of pot limit poker at my casino. Pot limit is a game that still predominates in British casinos. For those of you that don't know, exactly the same structure as other games of Hold'em. As the name suggests, you can bet any amount that's in the pot at any one time. So instead of no limit, the betting's capped by what's in the middle when you make your bet. I'm successful judging by the league table that my casino runs. However, I now want to step up and play more no limit. I regularly watch your show and on different nights try to identify the style of each player on the table on different days, playing the hands, adopting a different style of play to my normal type play. Well, that sounds like a good idea. Am I wasting my time? Well, can you advise the difference in how to approach a no-limit tournament as opposed to pot limit? Well, they are different games, James, different skill.
Yep. The thing is with pot limit, you actually have some control on the size of the pot, because the game with pot limit, the bets start small and then they get exponentially bigger, which an example of what exponential means is, say, if you take a piece of A4 paper and you fold it once, and you fold it twice, and you fold it 3 times, this actually increases in size amazingly fast. In fact, after you'd folded that paper 17 times, it would be the size of a 2-storey house. So, in pot limit, that's what happens to the size of the pot. It's true.
No,
try it.
Maybe in the break.
You can't fold it past 7, though. It's
no, that's
to do
true.
8. Yes, exactly.
So they increase
anyway,
exponentially.
That's an example of exponential by folding. Well, the pot limit takes the same thing. You put more money in, then someone bets a pot. This gets exponentially bigger. But however, you can control the size of a pot because you realise how much you bet now is going to be reflected by how much someone can bet later. Whereas in no limit, of course, we have the option to bet whatever's in front of us at any time. So that is the massive difference. Pot limit you can actually control.
It is a different game. I think, if you're jumping from pot limit to no limit, it's a mental jump as much as anything else, because you have to understand that your entire stack could go in one decision.
Of course.
It's a leap to make. Do read all the literature that's available and listen to us on Poker Night Live, because obviously we cover no limit every night, but I know you already do that. Guys, when we come back, the final of our multi-table tournament, I know you're going to stick with us. It's going to be great. We'll learn a lot and see some great poker. Stay with us on Poker Night Live. It's just not professional, don't do it. Welcome back, guys. We've got an hour left of top poker action and, of course, your texts and emails. Keep them coming in as we go straight back, I think. We've actually just got a slight satellite delay on the technicals, so we'll do an email.
Good idea.
Good idea. Smooth as silk. Smooth as sunning, anyway. Here we go. Paul, a.k.a. Cyberdoc, has entered our Who's Going to Go Into the $60 Million Challenge.
Oh, right.
He's gone for Phil Ivey. That's easy, he's already there. Phil Helmuth Jr., Doyle Brunson, Annie Duke. Come on, Paul, a.k.a. Cyberdoc. Annie's my favourite. Daniel Negreanu and Dave Colclough.
Ooh.
I think he's a brilliant player and very underrated. You rate Dave's play, I presume? He's a very good player, isn't
No, Dave, he's a great player. I'll tell you, he's a very good Omaha player as well, Dave Colclough.
he? Yeah.
First time he came to my notice was when I was hearing about how this guy was cleaning up in the Omaha games in Walsall with a rather strange style, they said.
Oh, really?
But it was Dave Colclough, yeah.
He'd actually be one of the better Omaha players on the planet, I'd have thought.
Dave Colclough, I'm sure he is one of them, yes. Yeah.
I mean, he's probably the best Omaha player in Europe. Tournaments, I would have thought. It's hard to find someone better.
No, I think he's very good, yeah.
Yeah, good. And we're talking about pot limit and no limit beforehand.
Yes.
And we didn't completely get to the end of that,
Nope.
did we? Pot limit is very different because I think you can just play a lot more. You end up being able to play a lot more hands in pot limit than you can in no limit.
That's basically what I was going from, the very fact, because it starts off, you can control the size of the pot.
Yeah.
So this means that you can influence whether you can stay in this pot or not, or you can just tempt people along. If you want to get a situation where you want to be able to blast people out of it, you can actually build up the pot. You can do a pot building bet, another way. So there's lots of more manipulating can go on in pot limit.
And do you raise as much pre-flop when you play pot limit, or do you like to limp more? Because there are different styles, aren't there?
Basically, the game with the size of the hands. If I've got a hand which I still want to thin the field, all those principles still stand the same. So I will be putting out raises. I don't want to get hands which I don't know what they are. I've still got to be you still have to be finding information, because poker is, for me, is a game where we're collecting information all the time.
Yeah.
And we're collecting information by making bets, making raises, asking questions.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Good luck if you do try pot limit. It's a great game. Our multi-table tournament is ready. We had a couple of technical gremlins. Those have been taken out and shot. They were actual living gremlins. 5 players remain. You haven't missed very much at all.
Nope. And we've got the Katie Cam on Weasel still.
Have we?
Yes.
It's like Sky Football's player cam, isn't it?
It is, but it's a Katie Cam.
It's a Katie Cam because James is in love with somebody who typed in 2 words into their screen profile. Bit worrying that, James.
I don't care that she misspelled the second part of her name either.
Not one for grammatical excellence when choosing a mate. I think we can all get on board with that. So, multi-table tournament, guys. If you weren't with us before the break, we started off with 246 players. The first prize is $740. And we've got 5 players left in with a shout of gaining that. So they've all worked very hard to be here.
Weasel. Queens.
Weasel has the queens.
Oh, and look at this. He's got his situation. I don't know. I don't like that.
It's not big enough, is it, the re-raise? Loomis is right to call here. Well...
OK, it's worked anyway, but...
it has worked. Only a king for Hildry, and we'll lose our 5th place finisher.
Yep. And I think he had to really isolate there. He saw the small stack there. He had to isolate the play here against Hildry. I didn't like the bet. It wasn't big enough.
Weasel's bet, of course.
Weasel's bet wasn't big enough. He had to blast Loomis out of this. He didn't quite blast him out. He was lucky to get rid of him.
He was. Hildry leaves us in 5th place. That's $159 for a $10 buy-in. It gets better.
So to be critical, I think there's another little mini black mark for Weasel there. One was that one earlier on, where I think he should have gone all in pre-flop. This time, under raise there. So we're being a little bit critical, but this is, just basically how we can all hopefully learn. But Weasel's doing well.
Doing brilliantly. 4 players left, and he's one of them. Run into a big hand here, however. But an easy folding.
And puts it down. And Hacknall marches on.
Now, what does Hackenhall... On past form, Hackenhall will at least call with ace-jack here. Maybe he'll re-raise. Let's have a look. He does re-raise.
Nick, you read it well. You read it well, sir.
Well, what does Loomis do now?
Well, it's... he's looking here. He's thinking, how much will he have left if it all goes wrong?
I think it's the right move to pass because he must be behind, and there is a decent chance that he's up against a better ace. Once the player in the big blind re-raises all in, the basket of hands that you put in, I think enough of those have you dominated that you're not actually getting the right odds at all.
Yeah, because when Nick talked about a basket of hands, he's just talking about basically you think of all the possible hands you could be raising with and what your percentage chance was against each of those individual hands, and then you more or less work out what your average expectancy would be. With that average expectancy, you now sort of relate that to what odds you are getting in the pot. But it's not purely maths in tournaments, it's situations as well, because you've only got one life. So the maths is a guideline. You can actually waver either side of the odds in a tournament, and it still can be correct. Whereas in a money game, it can't be correct calling a flush draw when you're not getting the correct odds. It just can't be correct. More betting and you're getting the wrong odds. If you're getting paid 3 to 1 and you're more than 4 to 1 to make the flush, this is just bad play. But in a tournament, there could be a situation where it might be correct.
Loomas wins the big blind. He's the shortest stack at the table, so we'll be feeling the pressure, but he can still afford to be a little bit patient. Doesn't need to do anything too drastic yet.
I think Weasels has generally played better since we put the KD cam on him. Yeah, I think it's really spurred him on.
Well, I think he's been playing all right, full stop, to be honest. Loomas is staying on the front foot, making the blind stealing all in.
Blinds are big now, of course, 2,000, 4,000.
They're big, but they're not so big that anyone needs to be doing anything crazy.
No, well, Loomas has still got over 10 big blinds himself.
Yeah, and he's the shortest.
With what's left, and now he's got more than that.
Well, good raise. Well, that's impressive from Loomas. He obviously decided that he wasn't going to go out like a lamb, and he was going to take some risks while he had some room to manoeuvre.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hakanal, flat raise, and I think he'll get away with it. Weasel will put it down. He does. That was pretty good. He's got a big stack there. He can do some of those cheeky little raises because he's got the implied follow-up bet. When you're looking at the guy with a big stack, you think, oh my goodness, we don't know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
He's got this big line of tanks behind him. And Loomas got a real hand. Oh, what? This is strange.
Not good from Weasel.
That was an unweasel-like play there. He just seemed to...
Oh, and now he's
Oh, what's happened?
Slit his throat, I'm afraid. Slit his own throat.
Well, that was absolutely peculiar.
Well, I talked at length before the break about not getting involved unless where you didn't have to. And Weasel there... Well, Weasel made that play before, didn't he? He called from the small blind when Loomas raised from the button, and then he bet out on the flop, and it worked when there was an ace on the flop. He's made exactly the same play again, but this time he's run into an ace. And the point is, he didn't have to make that move.
No.
And he's crippled himself in the tournament, making a play he didn't have to make, and that is always extremely frustrating.
Yeah, he got tempted on the turn, of course. On the turn, it was a great card for him. It gave him an up and down straight and a flush draw. But even so, he's still an underdog on the with one card to come.
Very unlucky in that pot.
Oh yeah, King 6 kept Weasel alive. Gave him trip kings. Loomas, no mercy. Wallop.
Oh, how can Weasel pass? With only 6,000 left. I think that was... Giant should have taken. They'll now be waiting for Weasel to bust out.
King Kong for Hakenhall. 3 times the bet. Well, we're going to see an accident here, I think. Yes, I felt Loomas was going to stick at it. Well, there's another overcard. Surely you can get away from it now. Surely.
Well, Hakenhall there stopped betting, and I think he was struggling to figure out
why he was there.
Why Loomas was still in the pot.
The problem is, yeah, he was worried about the trips and straights and everything. Every card looked worse, didn't it? As it happens, Loomas did actually have a free shot at an up and down straight. 10 Jack Queen King.
Yeah, I just didn't like Loomis calling the re-raise before the flop.
No, again, panic again. It just seemed to be desperation. And we've just seen a couple of really... They've just let the... They've just sort of like panicked. We've seen 2 panic plays now, one from Weasel.
Well, we're going to lose Weasel now, James.
You're right, it's another 10 just to confirm his demise.
We're going to be down to 3-handed poker in our multi-table. Weasel goes out, takes with him $196 for fourth, and the satisfaction of beating 242 other players to get fourth place, but he'll be disappointed not to have done better. Unfortunately, if you get knocked out in the late stages of the multi-table tournament, your first emotion is disappointment no matter how much money you win, because you want to win it all. 3 players left. Hack and Hole, a significant chip leader. And we could see a bit of play here, depending on, although they've been playing in a very lively fashion recently. If they calm down a little bit, they'll realise they've actually all got a little bit of room for manoeuvre. As Flamingo Kid moves back up to level with Loomis. And we could see an interesting 3-handed game, James.
Yeah, they've all got chips. Again. Loomis 7-5. And he tries again. He's really aggressive, isn't he? 3 times a big blind, and he's got away with it. He's taken down...
Yeah, I think Loomis is the most aggressive player at the table. If he could just stop calling re-raises, he would actually have a good tournament game. But he a couple of times has not put down hands to re-raises, and most of the time pre-flop, if you get a re-raise, you should be putting it down, I think.
Yeah, and the thing here is, what you're saying here, and actually this is just stressing the most salient point. There's a massive, massive, massive difference between being a better and a caller.
Yeah.
It's huge. Great, be aggressive with your betting with any old cards, it doesn't matter, but call, you've really got to think. Hack and Hole, Queen 7. Nope. Flamingo. He's there and he's hit it. Right. He's checked. $16.
I actually like Flamingo Kid's check on the flop. Not so sure about the turn, because it's getting dangerous then. But Loomis is an aggressive player.
Exactly.
He's basically trying to get him to make a
Yeah,
move.
he was trap checking. There's no way he was going to pass if he was trying to get him to bet and then come over the top of him if he bet.
Well, look at this. Aces for everybody. Flamingo Kid throws his away. Loomis will raise. And Hackle gets away from his.
Yeah. So I think it does look the case here that Loomis is definitely the most aggressive bettor, but it's possible that I think it's likely that Hack and Hole and Flamingo Kid are both more discerning regarding calling. Well, ooh, a little bet from Hack and Hole, a little raise from Flamingo, who's got the top straight, not worried about the flush.
This is a great game. These three are really, they've all got room to manoeuvre.
Right, Hack and Hole, I think, will pass this one.
He's been passing on the button a lot, yeah.
Flamingo has raised. Oh, and Loomis has learned how to pass. Well done. Well, we've all got over 100,000.
Great stuff, isn't it? Really competitive.
A mini raise from Loomis. It's good enough. Loomis sneaks into second place, nosing ahead of Flamingo Kid. 9-3. He's raised up with that now. 9-3 suited. And what's Hackenhall going to do? Makes it a proper bet, 20,000. Loomas.
Nice play by Hackenhall.
Yep, he read it well. He knows that Loomas is a mover and a groover. He thought, hang on, this is good enough.
Yeah, absolutely good enough. Ace-9's a strong hand, three-handed.
Well, especially against Loomas as well.
Absolutely.
K9, Queen. No one connects. Ah, does now though. 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen. Oh, rather 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. And
Loomas is bluffing at the wrong pot.
yes, he's raised into the flamingo with the straight.
Now, will that slow down Loomas at all? Will he?
And I'm surprised that Flamingo actually put in the raise there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I don't know. I thought maybe there he could have just sort of reluctantly called.
Well, will Hackenhall want to play this ace against Loomas?
No, he's dodged it. He's dodged it. Very good.
Yeah, we're seeing some good poker at the moment. Some interesting moves.
They're moving and a grooving.
Well, Loomas is being a bit unlucky at the moment in that he keeps running into hands.
Can he put this down? He does. That's very good. Very good.
If he can't put King-6 down.
Well, no, because he's getting lower now. I just, and the way he is, before we saw him call some of these, so I'm just saying it's like he's not panicking though, yet.
No.
But it's getting worse now because it's 2-4, isn't it? So.
Well, we can't be too long before the blinds go up. A couple more minutes, maybe.
Whoa, he's found a real hand.
Well, Hackenhall's consistently passed this sort of hand.
He's called that one.
He's called that one, interesting.
Oh my goodness, he's got a straight draw.
Well, I wish Loomas had checked there, but he decided not to.
He got called 4,000.
Loomas can go all in here. He does.
Well, that's nice. He's fattened up again.
Yeah, revived him. And that's the advantage of an aggressive image, of course, when you do pick up a hand.
More likely to get paid.
Nobody believes you.
He never has a hand.
Well, interesting hands in the blinds. How does Loomas want to play this one? He does re-raise. Flamingo Kid plays, and Flamingo Kid could be in trouble here. Loomas goes all in. Flamingo Kid calls with second pair. Well, that really is taking advantage of your aggressive image. Flamingo Kid didn't believe Loomas had the goods after all of his aggressive play, and paid him off. But all right, fine, Loomas has been playing aggressively, I understand that, but you've got second pair and you're calling for almost all your chips in the final stages of the tournament. You've got to be some sort of super genius poker player.
Wow, look at this, Nick. Yeah, I agree. Look at this. Queens, ace, king.
This could be the defining hand of this tournament, in fact.
Well, it could be the defining hand for Flamingo Kid.
It could. Hackenhall's going to be able to get away from it
yeah.
now, though.
Oh!
Hackenhall will pass.
Well, he might think he's got...
No, he's going to pass.
Yeah, he does.
Things have swung Loomas's way with a couple of strong hands and some aggressive play. Flamingo Kid sticks it in. Fortune favours the brave, and he's going to hang on for at least another hand. But he's going to do well to come back from this. Not impossible, of course. No limit hold'em, and things can change very quickly. He just needs a couple of double throughs, and he's right back in this thing.
There's Loomas, whacks it in again. He's certainly taken down a lot of chips, hasn't he, uncontested?
Yeah, well, he's played the best of the three for me. Not faultlessly, but he's been the bravest.
Oh, definitely. Wow. And Hackenhall decides it's time for him to...
Well, Loomas will be very tempted to call this, because if he loses it, he's still the chip leader. I'd have been tempted to call that, and if he wins it, he's won the tournament, basically, because he knocks out Hackenhole and...
He wouldn't be chip leader if he loses it. Hackenhole would have been
Okay.
Hackenhole would have been chip leader.
Okay, yeah. Okay. But he would still have been very competitive.
He'd be close, yeah.
It was a chance to win the tournament in some ways.
It was, but I don't think... I think he's quite right putting Queen Jack down. I just don't think that was good enough.
Is Hackenhole had just enough chips to be...
Yeah, we know that it was Queen Jack against Queen Jack, but we're not using that information. Obviously, we're trying to make our decisions. But I think he was right. I think I have to side with him. I think it was... he's got a better spot for his money than that. We know he's an aggressor. We know he takes chips for nothing. He can whittle them down with his aggression. Yeah. Why does he have to try and get lucky with a Queen Jack? That would be my my feeling.
No, I completely agree. It was an interesting opportunity, though, and one he was probably right to turn down. I think we agreed on that.
Yeah.
Blinds are up to 3 and 6.
Oh, for sure, it's one which is going to cross your mind when you say, oh, this could just not finish it all over.
Yeah.
This is me past the winning post.
It looks very tempting, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, he's picked up a few hands now. He's got another good hand in a three-handed game. He'll certainly fight Flamingo with it. Oh, and look how he's fought him. He's flopped a house.
Yeah, didn't need to do that.
Unbelievable.
He had the best hand, but that put the icing on it.
Dead man's hand, but it's dead man for Flamingo Kid, not for Loomis.
And a Flamingo without a leg to stand on.
Third
place, $295. $295 for Flamingo Kid. Well played, Flamingo Kid. Unfortunately, he ran into a bit of a juggernaut in Loomis tonight, my goodness. He really has dominated things since we went three-handed.
But look what's happening here. So he's getting stubborn again. And it's dangerous to get stubborn against trip aces.
It's not a good spot.
Not healthy.
Nice size bet by Hackenhole.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Wow.
Well, I think Loomis made his decision on the previous straight, basically.
Right, but it's really levelled up. Well, it's quite close again now.
Yeah, for a heads-up match, it's close, isn't it?
3-6. So again, we'd say the nice thing is we've still got quite a bit of play here. It's lovely. Because we don't get to see heads-up with play very often. That's why this is a treat.
I do really hope you're enjoying this at home. Congratulations for sticking with us tonight, getting off the week to a great start on Poker Night Live. This is the beauty of this show, being able to watch these multi-table tournaments in the final stages.
Wow. Hackenhole's taken the bit between his teeth.
Somebody's rattled his cage.
Yeah.
There's only one way to deal with a bully, and that's punch him on the nose, he's saying.
That's right, that's what my granddad said. But make sure the bully hasn't got a good hand.
Well, the ace-king hearts goes over the table.
Yeah, passing it round, very friendly. Whacks it in there. And that's a problem.
Look at that.
Oh dear, it's Loomis, a well-deserved winner. And that's actually a great example of basically what I was saying before. It was related to, it's a similar story, it was related to the pair of kings. There's no point putting the massive bet in on the flop, because the guy's only going to call you when he's got you. Whereas the one beforehand is far stronger, because there you know your favourite.
Yeah.
So he's committed that sin there. It's an over bet. Without many chips, he still had a lot of play there. He still had time to find out where he was. He didn't have to lose all his chips in that pot. So, in fact, that was a grave error from there. It was like let's get it over with.
It was a bit.
Maybe he was worried about we were running out of time, we weren't going to see him win it or something.
I think, to be honest, I think Loomis's play probably intimidated him a little bit, and he wanted to stand up to him and try and get...
I can do it as well.
Something like that. Or just try and... as opposed to box him, just swing for the fences.
Yeah, but there's still... That was a shame, because they still had enough play. If you've got play, you don't just have to press the all-in button at all. No. And don't press it when on the flop, because if you haven't connected with the flop... OK, I know there's ways for you to hit your hand, but you've got better places for your money.
Definitely.
But really enjoyable.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, Loomis played like... Wow, he's a monster.
Well, he played really good poker.
Well played, Loomis. You just really... attacked. You made a couple of dodgy decisions. You then overcame that. Then you did a couple of really good passes.
You know what? There was a critical point in that tournament, and it was when I think they were four-handed, and Loomis was actually the short stack. He had a reversal of some kind. And instead of sitting back and waiting for a hand He actually just went on the attack.
Yes.
And said, I've got chips right now and I can make moves. 10 minutes from now, I won't have chips. The blinds will have eaten them up. I'm the short star. I need to do something about it right now. And he took matters into his hands. And he never looked back. That was the critical
and
point.
I love that because actually, if you remember early in the programme, you asked me, and I said, I think people miss their opportunity when they've still
Absolutely.
got enough chips to make people put hands down.
Yeah.
And he didn't miss his opportunity. He wasn't bothered about his hand. He said, this is an opportunity. I think 9-3 did it with, if I remember rightly.
He did, yeah.
Bang. Took down the chips. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Each time he did it, his stack's growing bigger, and now it's even harder for them to call. But he didn't miss that window of opportunity when they still...
That's
I don't
right.
want to double him up. You can hear them saying, I don't want to double him up. I don't... Thank you. Lovely. I can still make you pass.
That's right.
So that was excellent.
It was a good demonstration of aggressive tournament play. Congratulations to Lumas. He's beaten 245 other players and he's gone home with $738 for a $10 stake.
That is good.
That's all right, isn't it?
That is
73
good.
times your money.
Good business if you can get it.
Well played to all of our final tablists, and I really hope you enjoyed that at home. That was a great finish to the
And thanks to
tournament.
Katie for letting us use your Katie cam on Weasel.
Katie, if you are a lady player and you came onto the TV table, you know, as a new experience, I do apologise on behalf of the show and the local services for the amount of damage James must have done to you over the last 2 hours. This is from Sapper DJ. He's emailed to say, I emailed the other night to say I came 64th out of 2,800 people on my first attempt at a multi-table tourney.
Whoa.
Fantastic result. But he has a problem area that he'd like some help with. So let's see if we can sort it out. I find it difficult to measure when I should bluff to steal the blinds, as I always seem to get someone coming over the top of me and winning the pot. I always measure the moment when weakness shows, but it doesn't seem to work, as the opponents seem to be bluffing me back. What words of wisdom could you give me to overcome this in my play? So he's trying to steal the blinds, James, and he's finding that people are re-raising him and basically bullying him off it because he doesn't have much in the first place. What can he do about that? Why does that happen to him?
Well, if there's always people re-raising you, it sounds like maybe you're bluffing in too early a position because there's always people who act after you, it seems.
Well, let's say that I think probably what he means is that the blinds are re-raising him.
Okay, well, in that case, I think, one, how do you know they're always bluffing you? Well, they're always showing you their hand? I don't quite understand it. In that case, if this is very unusual. I mean, generally the blind, if you've picked your customer correctly, maybe you've picked someone who's like got average stack of chips, so he's not desperate, but he doesn't quite want to pay someone off. He says, I'm going along quite nicely. I don't want to have to make any chancy move here. If he's on the blind, you've made your bet there. This guy's got to have a hand. It's very unusual for him just to re-bluff you. Unless this is a free roll or a very, very cheap tournament, and then people just ridiculously brave because they don't really care.
Yeah.
So that might be the case. But if you're in a sort of a meaningful tournament, it is rare for people thinking, oh, I'll just try a re-raise bluff. I'll tell you how rare it is. A couple of years ago, we watched John Duffy do it a few times on the Poker Million. People still talk about it because it's so unusual that people did re-raise bluffs. And
Well, you're putting so many chips at stake that people don't like to do it, do
he
they?
did it, and it's so unusual. People say, how could he do it? He did it again. He seemed to always know when his opponent was bluffing. And there was conspiracy stories, everything was going around because it was so unusual. I think this is unusual if they're doing it to you.
I think it is, and the bottom line is, if that's happening, if the games you're playing in, there's re-stealing out of the blinds, well, then you need to change the way you play. If something's not working in poker, there's always a different way to go. And you need to find a different solution to that problem. Don't beat your head against a wall if something's not working. Limp in late position. Let them check and then play the hand on the flop and outplay them and show you aggression on the flop. There's always something different that you can try. Maybe you're stealing from the wrong players. Whatever it is, don't keep doing the same thing. Try and find ways out of it, because there is an infinite number of moves that you can make.
This sounds like a good field for making money anyway, because if they do this, well, when you raise with a hand, they're going to be re-raising you with nothing. Lovely jubbly, take all that money.
James, I like you so much, I'm going to let you bang on about your cruise for a couple of minutes. What? I'm just saying.
Oh.
No, it's nice.
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
nice, yeah. I think it's nice, but I don't know.
Sort of double-edged compliment, isn't it? Colm has emailed him to say he's writing to congratulate James on his recent results on the cruise.
Oh, you would have been nice.
I was talking to him a couple of occasions, invariably when I was quite drunk. He probably will best remember me as the bog-brained Murphy.
I do remember you, Colm, very well.
Was there just one? That's my question. Anyway, great result in the 200. Unlucky not to win it. Was wondering how you got on in the other tournaments you entered. Still, saw you still hanging on in the 500 on the last day with 25 remaining. How did you do in that one?
In that one, I actually finished 13th. So,
13th, so
I made a profit in that one, so it was okay.
Impressive stuff. Keep up the good work. Don't forget to tell everyone what The Sixth Sense and Titanic have in common.
Oh, Colm, I can't remember it. It was a special joke. Perhaps, can you make an ending up for this joke?
What The Sixth Sense and Titanic have in common?
Can we make up one?
Nope.
Oh.
Both quite good. One of them made me cry.
Right.
That was Titanic.
Okay. Colm, I've forgotten the joke.
To be honest, this is how much of a girl I am where Titanic's concerned. I'm working on a TV show at the moment. They're going to do a reconstruction of Titanic with two builders doing the scene where Jack goes. And even that is enough to disturb me.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
A little tingle?
Yeah. I'm actually filling up a little bit.
I'll tell you what, if they'd got King Kong to do the scene, you'd have been bursting in tears.
Well, that is a terrible business. And shouldn't be allowed. And how that's a PG-13, I think it should be a
PG
35 plus. A PG tips.
PG tips.
I didn't. There was a delay.
Yeah, you're a bit slow there. Yeah. Okay.
Bit slow. Or just lacking in charity. Hard to tell.
Oh no, slow. I think it was.
Was it
Late,
slow?
Tired. Because you've been working hard today.
I've been
18
working hard
jobs
today.
you've done today.
That's right. Thanks for the sympathy. Thanks for the email, Colm. And
send us the answer to the joke. I can't remember it.
yeah,
Colm.
what do The Sixth Sense and Titanic have in common? It's definitely not crying stuff,
No.
is it?
There's still time. Give us the answer.
There is still time. Half an hour left, guys. Very little time left, but we'll do a couple of emails before the end of the show. poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk if you want to try and beat the time barrier tonight. Hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we have. It's not over yet. Got some cash play for you.
Plenty more to come.
Here's a little look at the 2-4 to take us to bed on this Monday night.
Yeah, but we're still there. We've still got energy. We're alive.
When you say we
have.
I'm ready for sleepies,
No,
James.
no, you're on your second wind.
I'm on my second cocoa.
You're on your second wind. We're buzzing. And look, the leaderboard. What could wake you up better than that?
Yeah, that's brought me to a peak.
Yes, look at that. And who's at the top of that peak?
I'm almost in frenzy.
It's Silter. It's Silter at the peak of the leaderboard with 1490. And Slactakal bringing up the rear with 125.
James, I've got the answer to the joke.
Okay.
It's I see dead people.
Oh.
See what we did there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see dead people.
Yeah.
That isn't the ending he told me on the boat. I'm sure it wasn't.
Well, that is an ending. And
Oh, that is an ending.
Hopefully we can all move on now.
It's all right, though.
Yeah, it's good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I see dead people.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
Well, it was all right, wasn't it?
I think it's quite good.
All right.
Titillating.
If you find dead people titillating, that's your business. It's not funny. The end of Titanic is not funny.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that bit, yeah, sorry. King 9-8. What have we got here? We've got a flush draw for Bustis. Another name I could fall in love with. Silter.
Pretty sure it's a man, James.
Oops. Bustis.
Yeah.
Gone off it.
Yeah.
Silter. Playing very slowly, and please hurry up.
It's early in the morning. James is getting touchy.
Well, I just don't like too much slow play because I just like to see more hands. And it's a flushy for Bustis. He's just got a pair of kings in opposition who decide very sensibly to pass. Well done. This is a 2-4 cash game. You can buy in for a maximum of $400. You can buy in for a minimum of $40. It's a full table. On here, that's 8 players. And we can see that Given is doing very nicely, thank you. He's got $1,395. And Silter has got $1,374. So this has been a lively game.
Yeah, very much so.
And
1,374 and 1,396.
396.
So both very big stacks for a 2-4
and there's a
game.
547 there as well.
Top pair for Silter.
King Kicker. Bottom pair for K5OS. It looks like SOS. It would have been SOS if he'd called. I see dead people. Bustis, I don't think he can call, can he? 8-4 offsuit, pretty measly. But that time bar starts to annoy me when it's got 8-4 offsuit there.
Just relax, James. Remember, you are on TV. So.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah.
But I bet some people feel like it this time.
Flush draw for Slake to Cal. Top 2 pair for Silter.
Slakta makes another flush. Well, 903 needed for Silter. But first, a decision.
Well, you have to
And
grit
he's
your
made-
teeth and bet and see what happens, don't you? Well, Silter hates it now.
I think Silter knows where he's $4. Please give us $4.
How bizarre.
Big issue. Big issue.
Quite odd.
He got it. He got the $4.
Well, of course he did.
Well,
Well, what?
$4.
Well, that doesn't make it right, does it?
I don't know, what would have happened if he bet 8? He'd have probably passed. If that was right. If he'd have passed for 8, it's the correct bet, probably.
Probably.
Well, no,
Well,
yeah. If he would have passed for 8,
Yeah,
if he'd have passed for 5 and he calls for 4, it's the correct bet.
yeah.
So what would his pain threshold have been there with 4 hearts, I wonder? Bet yours wouldn't have been very high.
Probably not.
No, mine wouldn't.
I take it all back.
Yeah, it's probably not... Yeah, what I'm saying is, it looks funny, but it's probably not far off his expectation, because it's just the last thing he wants to see, another heart there.
If he'll only pay 4, if he'll only call for 4,
Yeah.
it's almost certainly better to check, isn't it? If you're Slack to Carlo. Because
He might
the
bluff.
times that he decides to bluff, he will bluff for much more than 4.
It's a good point.
But
But
this time in the
I
morning,
don't-
it's a staggeringly good
It's a
point.
staggering point, but I'm not certain that people in this pot would be trying to bluff with that 4th heart there necessarily, because he'd been wondering what his opponent was there with anyway, because he had been the aggressor in the pot. Yet
Yeah.
his opponent had just been
Yeah,
plodding along there.
Yeah, but in order to beat an expectation
I
of
think it's a good point.
$4, he
Yes,
doesn't
no, I
have to
like
want
that.
to bluff very often.
He doesn't have to. No, it's a good point. I like it. I think
Thanks,
that's
James. Thanks.
good lateral thinking.
That's it. I've peaked.
Well, no, you can't go home just because
No,
you
no,
said,
I won't go.
I thought you were off.
I won't go anywhere.
No,
But
don't go.
if anything else of value or interest comes out of my mouth in the last 15 minutes, I'll be staggered.
No, it'll just be sort of random.
Let's not give up hope.
Okay.
It could still happen. I'm just explaining to you the likelihood.
Okay.
Well, it's late for Poker Night Live with about 50 minutes left, but it's not late for many of these players. They could be up much longer into the night
much longer.
in this lively 2-4 cash game. I don't think I've ever asked you, James, what hours do you tend to keep and play? Do you play late at night?
Yeah,
or-
I do.
Yeah,
I played after I finished the show last night,
yeah.
and I played till about... It was a good game. In fact, I was playing 4 tables of low
Excellent.
limit, and I actually played... It was a very, very good games, and I actually played till about 6:30.
Very impressive. I mean, some may read into that you didn't give your all to the show.
No,
I mean, I know when I come off air, I'm spent.
Ah, right, but I am used to staying up late. I am definitely a night owl.
I'm teasing. So am I, absolutely.
Definitely.
Most poker players are, aren't
I'm
we?
definitely a night owl. I'm probably more night owlish than most, however.
Slacker Carla has made a set and does his traditional I've got a strong hand bet of 4.
You clicked this value bet button by mistake.
Yes. Unfortunately, nobody has anything to pay him off with. And he still will take the pot.
Right. Can't see many takers here. Oh, wouldn't have guessed that one. Nick Wealthall calling with 9-3 suited.
Well, it's late and I'm tired. And
Ooh, you must be. Slack to Cal. Kojak in the cutoff. That's not so bad. I don't mind that. Bustis, raising with 9s. I like that. And he's got a couple of limpers there, so he's made the raise higher. Full agreement. Well, not a flop for him to cherish. There's 2 overcards. He does have 1 diamond in his hand, and he's still gutsy enough to put out the bet, but he's walked into an up and down straight. But of course, Slaktakal has got 2 of his straight cards, which are diamonds, which he doesn't like. Because it could be...
I don't like that call by Slaktakal, I'm afraid.
No, because he's basically drawing to a 6-card straight.
Yeah.
Because he can't enjoy a diamond coming. Now, Bustus is checked. Is he checked and been prepared to call?
I hope so.
WRBV. Well, there's not many decent hands out here again. Bad Fish decides to limp in with 8-10 suited. Duff Miver, I think, might join the party now. Hi, Duff. It's Trev there, isn't it? Trev in the cutoff has decided not to limp. Duff Miver invited Michelle and I to his party.
Did you go?
No, it hasn't been yet.
Oh, are you
Last
going?
night on this email, he invited us to the party.
Are you going?
It'd be very nice if I'm around, yeah. Why not?
Well, what is it, birthday?
No, I think it's just...
Poker? Poker in a cash bar?
In the cash bar? Too far to go. Oh, cash bar, sorry.
Yes, cash bar.
Could be a good song, Poker in the Casbah.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, be all right, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yes, I'm not quite sure where or when it is, but I think there's details in the back room. Pre-flop folds, look at this. Duff Miver, top of the charts, 86%. That's incredibly tight. Given, 84%. I'll tell you what, guys. That is, in an 8-handed game, that is very, very, very tight. I'm a solid, tight player myself, but I actually think that's overly tight.
Interesting.
I think that is overly tight.
Nothing wrong with being overly tight, eh?
I think there is.
Oh, there is.
Because it's hard now to actually ever get on when you've got a hand, if you're overly tight. So therefore, every now and again, you should be putting in position bets, etc., which every now and again you'll get pushed off, which actually shows that you're human, that you've got weakness, that you haven't always got it.
That depends whether the other players are
Aware.
of what you're doing.
Right, well, presumably in a game like this, they do notice.
I think that they notice less than poker commentators, I don't mean Poker Night Live commentators, I mean people that talk about poker, I think they notice less than what is generally viewed as how much they notice. I can't form sentences anymore, James, which
No,
I'm aware,
you were having trouble with that one, yes.
is bad for the show.
Yes.
However, my
Do you want
point
me
is
to
still
translate that, or?
my point is still valid and bordering on interesting.
It is. No, it is very interesting. In fact, the way you express it is interesting.
That is interesting.
No, you are making a point. I would like to think that in poker, that the poker players actually are becoming more aware. So I'm going to be a little bit of the devil's advocate here, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, they might be becoming more aware.
I'll tell you why. Because
Yes.
of people taking on such implements as Poker Tracker, etc., etc.
Maybe, but a lot of these players will be playing on 2 or 3 tables.
Good point, good point.
And
Working well.
I just don't see that much evidence that if you play tight, you don't get paid off.
Nick, is this some sort of like, are you trying to confess something here? Like you're not always fully aware how many times someone's been playing?
No, I just think people talk a lot about table image.
Yes.
And table image only means anything if the other players are aware of it.
True.
Now, in live poker, it's much harder not to be aware of how somebody else is playing because they're physically there in front of you. And I think it is one of the big differences between online poker and live poker. I think online poker, your table image is much less important. I'm not saying it's not a factor or it's not important. I'm saying it's much less important.
Funny enough, I think in a live game,
Yeah.
if you're having an exceptionally quiet spell of cards or whatever, I think sometimes just by sort of having bits of chat in between the hands and etc., etc., and you can actually sort of give the image that you're sort of involved in the game.
Right.
And perhaps sort of camouflage the fact that you haven't played a hand for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Whereas on the internet, I suppose you can be very active on the chat box, but it doesn't work quite the same. I think I would tend to notice if someone hadn't played a hand, but maybe you're right. I think what it does mean is we should definitely be more aware. That's the moral.
Yeah.
Is that the moral of the tale?
No, I don't think so. I think that's a completely different moral. Sorry, James.
No, the follow-up though. Perhaps we should.
No,
be,
we should
if
all- we
if
should
we're
be
not
more
aware enough, you say people aren't particularly aware.
Well, no. I'm not saying that we're not. I'm saying that in general,
people aren't
as aware of other people's play.
So in general, people should be more aware. No?
All right, yeah, that's fair. But the key point was one slightly before that.
Yes.
Which was
you could get away with it.
well, where we started this was where you said the guys were playing over tight.
Yeah.
Which they might have been. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm just saying as an interesting discussion point. I think until you get to a decent level of poker, you actually still tend to get paid off, I think.
Yeah.
I think you can sit there and play very, very tight in most cash games on the internet, and you'll still get paid when you have your good hands.
If I was playing this game, I'd also be watching the telly and I'd be saying, oh, hang on, he's passing 86% of the time pre-flop.
Yeah, you would.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Ah.
But you're a top professional player, James. That's why you're in the hot seat.
Oh, OK, I understand. Right.
What I'm saying is, your average player...
Yeah, so I think you have made a valid point.
Thank you. I now will gracefully withdraw from the opinion-forming part of the show. We've had an email from Sam, also known as Lumas, who is our Lumas, who contributes on the forums regularly, has emailed the show several times before. Delighted to see a friend of Poker Night Live win a multi-table tournament. Don't know if that's happened on the show before.
I thought it was a great performance.
It was a great performance. He says, thanks for the compliment, the check's in the post. Let's do the other side as well, just to improve Lumas's play. Reflecting on what he did. The mistake we did see him make a couple of times was calling re-raises.
Yep.
I remember one, I think there were 2 or 3 like this, Lumas, you'll forgive me if there weren't, but I definitely remember one where he raised with 8s on the button, the big blind re-raised him, and he called that re-raise. Now,
I think he called another bet as well after that.
Yeah, if you're looking for holes in your game, Lumas, and places where you can still improve, as we all can always in this game, I think calling re-raises pre-flop is something you want to think very carefully about.
And you know why it's worse in Lumas's case? Because in your case, Lumas, you were so good with chips, you were so good as the aggressor, that the chips you were wasting by calling incorrectly, what a waste, because we know what you could have done with those chips as an aggressor.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger waste for you.
Yeah.
If you're a sort of a timid player who never does anything, maybe you might as well call and try and get lucky. But you didn't have to do that. You could have used those chips as weapons, and you were definitely going to get further as an attacker, not just as a passive caller.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a brilliant point by James Eames. I hope you've taken that on board. Other than that, we really enjoyed seeing some solid aggressive poker.
Exciting.
It was exciting. Red Rita's texts in, a new texter in my experience. Red Rita says she wins on a regular basis, loves the philosophy of folding, your philosophy, she says, of folding to the re-raise with marginal hands, ace-jack and ace-queen. So just backing up the fact that if you get re-raised pre-flop, if you watch the show for a couple of nights, you'll see this. It almost always means a very strong hand. Best case scenario, it means a good hand. So in order to play on, you should really have a premium hand, I think. Unless it's a tournament situation, someone might be making a move, obviously that's different. But in the main, a show of strength before the flop is something you should worry about.
Yeah, I'll add one little snippet, because this is quite interesting. If there's a raise, re-raise, re-raise, that last one, way over 50% of the time, is aces.
Is aces, that's a good tip. Rita ends her text by saying, keep up the good work, easy money munchie. I have absolutely no idea what it is or what it means, but it has left me ending the show feeling quite aroused. James, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
We've had a great show tonight. Hope you've enjoyed it, everyone. More Poker Night Live tomorrow at 10.
Bye.